Di, thank you. There's nothing like a night game in Baton Rouge, the state capital of Louisiana, coming alive tonight for a program that's looking to finish the season strong after some early struggles. But the faithful have turned out for the rare matchup against Vanderbilt in a series that dates to 1902. Welcome once again to SEC Saturday Night. LSU led out by Brian Kelly, the winningest coach in NCAA football, all divisions, only 2 losing seasons in 34. Welcome to SEC College Football, presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. LSU trying to get right a 4-loss season for the Fighting Tigers, and they get Vandy. Both teams sitting at 3-3 in conference play, but they've gotten to that point. Very different routes, and the Tigers in their gold jerseys, a certain rarity, taking the field here at Death Valley. Only the 5th time in program history that LSU is adorned in gold tops. Let's take you down to the field. Cole Kubelik with LSU head coach Brian Kelly.
Coach Kelly, lost 3 straight. Some of your preseason goals now out of reach. How'd you get your team motivated? Describe how you did that this week.
Yeah, it's LSU, right? You play to a standard. These guys love to play football. You go back and you go back to work. And we've got to finish games. 3 of our losses have been late in the 3rd, 4th quarter. So I think our team understands this is a 4-quarter game, especially against Vanderbilt. They play everybody tough. They're going to be in the game. We've got to be able to close this one out.
You've been able to find a lot more balance the last few weeks offensively. How much more do you need to expand on that tonight?
Yeah, I think it's about big chunk plays. You know, I think we got balance in the offense. Now we got to go get some big plays down the field. I think we get that element, keep doing what we're doing on the defensive side of the ball, we'll be in good shape.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Tom.
All right, Cole, thanks. So Brian Kelly got more involved on the offensive side after the loss to Texas A&M. They're trying to get everything situated. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, you just heard from Cole. What a weird season for LSU. They came in with high hopes. They lost to USC to start this season, then went on a 6-game win streak. Now all of a sudden, everybody gets really excited about the possibilities of playing for an SEC title or a national championship. And then a 3-game losing streak. Okay, so the sky seems to be falling for LSU fans. Give me something they should be excited about.
Yeah, there's not really one thing you can put your finger on. The defense struggled a little bit with mobile quarterbacks. The offense, like we heard Brian Kelly say, the explosive plays kind of went away. The run game's been better. I think the really good thing is you still have one of the most talented quarterbacks in the entire country in Garrett Nussmeier, and his ability to stretch the field has always been there. Yeah, they've been inconsistent a little bit, but the talent's there. If they can continue to build on or find some momentum. There was a players-only meeting this week. Brian Kelly mentioned they're a little ticked off. They're motivated. Vanderbilt is not a team you want to overlook. I think we see a much better version of LSU tonight.
And you heard Brian Kelly mention that they want to stretch the field and try to find some more explosives. He's a guy to do it. Meanwhile, on the Vanderbilt side, it's not the Vanderbilt program that you played for, mainly because they finally have a quarterback. They didn't when you were there. But Vanderbilt is having a historical season. They're accomplishing things that they never have. Obviously, the win against Alabama, knocking off #1, is the highlight.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch, and Diego Pavia has been a big reason, but I love how Clark Lee built this thing from the ground up for 3 years, and then he threw out the blueprint and said it's not working. We got to do it completely different. different, and now you're seeing the results of him taking over the defensive coordinator position, adding new pieces on offense, a new scheme, a new quarterback, the upset at Alabama, the win at Auburn, and now a chance to add LSU to that list. It's pretty crazy to think Vanderbilt could achieve that.
Yeah, they haven't won here since 1951. They've only won here twice, 1902 in the first meeting. They also found a victory. Let's go back down to Cole on the field. Cole, what's the path to victory for Vanderbilt in your eyes tonight?
Number one, run the football. They actually have gotten away from that a little bit in the last couple of games, have not been successful as they were early in the season. Number two, Tom, they got to get to the quarterback. Teams that have had success against LSU have gotten to Garrett Nussmeier. Specifically, you look at that Florida game plan last week, 22 sacks on the season for this Vanderbilt defense, 56th in college football. I talked to Clark Lee before the game. He said, I don't know how confident I am that we can do it with just 4 up front, but we have to find ways to be creative and get to the backfield.
Well, Vanderbilt won the toss. Commodores have elected to defer, so LSU will receive. And despite the struggles for LSU over the course of the season and coming in on a 3-game losing streak, there's something that's just right about being in this building on a Saturday night.
Yeah, there's not many more special places in the entire country. The new uniforms look sweet. Death Valley at night's a tough place to play. That's why they're 13-1 here with Brian Kelly. And despite the 3-game losing streak, you just feel like LSU could find some energy and some momentum tonight.
Brock Taylor gets us started on this SEC Saturday night. Josh Williams has a chance from the 4. Pass the 15, ball popped out, and it ends up in the hands of the Tigers, and they catch a break. Looked like Major Burns was able to find that one. Pardon, it's the other number 8 that found that one on the ricochet. So here's Garrett Nussmeier, entering today second in the conference in passing yards and leads the league in passing touchdowns. He's number 9 in total offense.
Yeah, and I said it in the open. I think it was one of the most talented quarterbacks in the entire country. 2 things that jump off the tape: anticipation throws and throwing off platform. Had to do that a lot the last couple weeks with the injuries at offensive line. They need to protect him better tonight.
Caden Durham, freshman from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, is the starting tailback for LSU tonight. And Durham runs it straight ahead before Demarion Thomas brings him down, pardon me.
Yeah, I mentioned that offensive line. LSU was hoping to get Garrett Dellinger back from that high ankle sprain. He's been out about a month. He's not back, not healthy. Paul Wabinga will start again at left guard. Struggled there last week.
Yeah, a third of the pressure's got home against him. Busted through the side. No chance to bring down Nussmeier, and a swing out to Caden Durham. And that'll set up 3rd and short to Ricky Wright. In on the tackle for Vandy. It's going to actually be 3rd and 3.
A good little job early there of Garrett Nussmeier using that mobility. That's one thing Joe Sloan mentioned he'd like to see a little bit more of. Use your legs to buy you out of some of those pressures that we've seen the last couple weeks. And that time bought himself some time and found Caden Durham.
It's been a productive season for Nussmeier through the air, offset by interceptions and movement up front after Vandy shifted its defensive line, and that's going to back him up.
DJ Chester,
false
center.
start, offense number 79, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Steve Marto, our white hat tonight. So for a team that really wanted to run the ball more, you mentioned offensive coordinator Joe Sloan. This backs him up and puts him in a passing down after the penalty. Williams in a tailback. Now Sloan, first year as the OC here under Brian Kelly. The center just had the infraction, is a redshirt freshman. 4-man rush for Vanderbilt. And nothing doing for Kyron Lacey. And LSU forced to punt it away. Cole.
Tom, you just mentioned that Chester, redshirt freshman, that's about the 7th or 8th time that's happened to LSU this year. And I'll be honest with you, it should never take place. The play starts when you snap the football. And so due to either the cadence or how they're handling it, when the snap's going to be snapped or who's going to manage that, it's been a problem for this LSU football team all season. It's just wild to imagine it's still continuing.
Brad Davis is the offensive line coach here at LSU. Paul Oschendorf on to punt it away. A low kick that tumbles to the 37. Immediate hit and taken down for no gain. 41-yard punt. P.J. Woodland with the special teams coverage for LSU. And here's the man that stirs the drink for Vanderbilt, Diego Pavia. You probably know his story by now, but the historical nuggets continue to pile up. If he's able to knock off LSU today, he'll be only the second quarterback in the last quarter century to beat Bama, Auburn, and LSU in the same season. And it's a tall comparison, but he's got a lot of Johnny Manziel from a game-changing game ability to make things happen. And that's something that LSU struggled with, those mobile quarterbacks. So got to contain him early. 3 different mobile quarterbacks in league play torched LSU on the ground. Pavia play action on the first play. Dials deep. Man wide open. Skinner takes it to the house on the first play. A 63-yard strike, and Vandy's got the lead at Death Valley. There's a flag back at the 37. Pavia indicates it's against LSU. How's that for a start? Steve Marlowe.
Result of the play is a touchdown. During the play, personal foul, face mask, defense number 99. A 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Diego Pavia's got him with the face mask. Brock Taylor on for the point after. What a start for Diego Pavia. Second touchdown of the season for the senior Quincy Skinner. And Vandy making some noise right at the gate. Point after good, 7-0 Doors. How'd it happen?
Well, it's just a little stutter, glance, and go. I love the play call. Take a shot early. And here's what you're going to see when you have a mobile quarterback. Watch these eyes in the backfield. Not looking at the receiver, getting eyes caught in the backfield, and that's when Skinner runs right by him. There wasn't much to the route. It was just a little stutter. But right before that, I mentioned mobile quarterbacks have been the bane of LSU's existence lately. And that time, it was a play action, taking advantage of it over the top.
Yeah, straight out the Lennox, that trap on for hours. I'm straight out the minutes. They calling up Dion, straight out the business.
Well, Vanderbilt's trying to win 7 regular season games for the first time since 2013. The Pavia family, they're living the good life.
Shirts are like always optional with them, and I love it.
Why bother? Fourth opening drive touchdown at conference play. That's tied for the lead.
You don't
After
need
the penalty, Vandy kicking off from the 50.
If you don't need shirts on Broadway, you don't need them in Baton Rouge. That's for sure.
No, you do not. Can you imagine the Pavia brothers on Bourbon Street?
Oh.
From the 7, what a crack. Josh Williamson tumbling. What a hit. And Bryce Cowan. Turn your volume up for this one. Oh, man. Sent his own man into him.
Trades Green, the tight end. He's a big boy, but the low man won that one. He got knocked right back into his own teammate. A little friendly fire.
That was a combo shot on the billiards table. Caden Durham at tailback for LSU. Penalties cost him on their opening possession. Then Vandy struck on its lone play. And here's the tight end, Mason Taylor. Takes it for a first down. Mason Taylor's got that left leg wrapped. And Cole, you saw him during that last break getting more medical attention.
He was over on the bench, had his left leg pulled up on his pants just a little bit. It looks like they were applying heat to it, just trying to work on it a little bit more, maybe keep that thing loosened up. Looks like he's got some tape under that sleeve on the left leg as well.
28th consecutive game with a reception for the son of the Pro Football Hall of Famer. And to the run game. Caden Durham.
Yeah, big emphasis on getting the run game going. We kind of talked about how the explosive plays haven't really been there. Well, talking to Joe Sloan, the offensive coordinator, he's like, well, we can't just run 4 verts and hope that someone gets open. We got to be able to run the football, get safeties to add to the box, get eyes in the backfield, then try to take those shots over the top. So big emphasis on getting Caden Durham going here early.
On 2nd and 4. They'll flip Taylor to the left side. And Durham again. And that'll set him up for 3rd and short. They've run the ball more often, but still struggling on the ground over the last handful of games during this 3-game losing streak. Less than 3 yards per carry. That is one of the worst in all of college football over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, not ideal, but 2 good runs there get you in a 3rd and short situation. And despite the lack of a good rushing attack, 3rd downs have been really good for LSU this season. Top 10 in the country.
C.J. Daniels was the man in motion. Straight ahead and a 1st down for LSU. Cole, this LSU team came in with high expectations for the offensive line, especially Will Campbell at left tackle. How would you grade their performance so far this season?
Probably B-, C+. I actually think situationally they have not been put in good spots to succeed. I think when you become a pass-first offense, teams can just tee off on you and they have the beat on some of your protections. You're not going to look like a very good offensive line a lot of the time.
Garrett Nussmeier was sacked 6 times in the first 9 games. Then he was sacked 7 times in the loss to Florida. Nussmeier steps up in the pocket, goes deep, and the crossing route connected with Kyron Lacey for an LSU 1st down. That's a pickup of 31.
But already starting to see the effect of the run game. Watch all these linebackers just step up. Just a couple steps on this run action. That's going to open up the over route right behind them. In that big vacancy, Kyron Lacey, already the run game having an effect on the downfield passing.
Josh Williams now in at running back for LSU. 6th play of the drive, 2nd possession of the night for the Tigers. Vandy brings an extra man. Nussmeier to the perimeter. And a quick hit on Aaron Anderson. And then cleaned up after brought down by Fontenette by Martell Hyde.
They're going to have a lot of those throws. We call that free access. Vanderbilt plays a lot of spot drop zone, which means they're not trying to match guys. They're trying to get eyes in the backfield, eyes on receivers, keep everything in front of them. So Garrett Nussmeier is going to have a lot of opportunities to take those easy free access throws in the flats. He's got to stay patient and not try to force things downfield when they're not there. Good job there.
Nussmeier with a check at the line. He has started this game 5 for 5. Has plenty of time. Long throw to the numbers to Josh Williams, who breaks free and picks up the sideline. That is a weakness of Vanderbilt. Clark Lee, their defensive coordinator and head coach, said we've got to be able to keep guys from getting down the sideline. And Joe Sloan said we have to take advantage of their missed tackle.
And you can see the eyes of Garrett Nussmeier. He's trying to find something down the middle of the field. Linebackers underneath stayed patient and just checked it down.
We saw Texas attack Vanderbilt outside the numbers repeatedly. Williams, and he breaks free into the end zone for a 20-yard touchdown run. Well, LSU bemoaned the fact that they had these long drives. It ate a lot of clock but didn't finish. Especially in the Florida game, they said they needed more explosives. Well, those 90 yards covered up with a couple of chunk plays. A long pass to Lacey, then a 20-yard run by Williams for his 4th touchdown of the year. Damian Ramos for the point after, and LSU has evened it up.
I mean, that's a perfect drive for LSU. Couple dirty runs, set up the play action like you said, and then Josh Williams just breaking tackles on his way into the end zone. Vandy started the game with a big explosive play, and LSU answers with a picture-perfect drive.
Reporting live from a solo.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. Get internet how you want it. And in part by Mercedes-Benz.
Well, these gold jerseys tonight have been in planning stages for about 5 years, but when they first wore them in 1996, it was an immediate response to Vanderbilt not allowing LSU to wear its home white jerseys. Ron Dowhauer was the head coach back then, and in a game of gamesmanship, he said, no, we want to wear our white. It was the visiting team's right to choose back then. That rule has since been amended. LSU responded by shutting out Vandy 35-0, and Dowhauer would be gone shortly thereafter. Time now for coverage where it counts, presented by T-Mobile 5G home internet.
I talked about how dynamic Diego Pavia is as a rusher, leads all quarterbacks in rushing yards in the SEC. You can't rush him like he's a pocket passer. If you get behind him, he's going to rush up the middle of the field and make big explosive plays happen every time. You got to retrace on your pass rush. When you get to the level of the quarterback, retrace, because when he steps up, bam, defensive end can be right there. And you got to build a wall in front of this guy at times. Picket fence, ET stunts, get guys in front of him. Don't give him a clean pocket or rush lanes. You're really not trying to sack him as much as you're trying to keep him in the pocket as much as possible.
Emmanuel Davey is the lead blocker for that run. Picks up 5. Well, Diego Pavia is a guy who's been running this offense for a couple of years, including New Mexico State. He is not just a smart quarterback, but he's got great eyes as a runner.
Yeah, he's got great instincts, too, and great feel of how to navigate the pocket, step up, and find lanes. That's why Blake Baker, defense coordinator for LSU, mentioned the key to this game is just keeping him there. You know, we think about it. Offensive line, a lot of times, are the ones that want to form the pocket. I think the defensive line here has got to form a pocket and just give it to him. Let him play quarterback from that pocket. Don't let him be a game changer and use his legs.
Trying to limit the Manziel-type plays. That'll limit it. They get in the backfield and take him down. Savion Jones.
Well, this is great, too. This is another way to be aggressive. You just crash the mesh. Instead of reading this and waiting, just run right at it and blow something up. Savion Jones, great job. And that's another thing Blake Baker mentioned. We got to go hunting for TFLs at times. We can't sit back and just read and let them get into this triple option game and make us play hesitant. Sometimes we're just going to try to go get it. And right there they did.
Vandy scored on its first play of the night, now facing a 3rd and 6 on the Doors' second possession. Alexander, the running back with Pavia, and he needs a timeout. Play clock was dwindling.
Timeout, Vanderbilt, the first of the half.
Vanderbilt trying to snap a
30-second timeout.
9-game losing streak to LSU. And Clark Lee understanding, because he played at Vanderbilt, just how magical this season has been. I think it's hard when you're in the middle of it to stop and smell the roses. There was an opportunity after the Alabama win to tell his guys, we've proven that we can do it. We're good enough. And now every penny, every minute goes towards winning, as opposed to some of the esoteric teachings about being great individuals. No, let's focus first on winning football games.
No doubt. And that's why we're seeing the Vanderbilt team that we're seeing. I said it in the open. The first 3 years, like you mentioned, he was building a philosophical culture, which is not the wrong route. But he realized it wasn't getting us where we wanted to be, and we just got to focus on everything we can to win games. That meant taking over the defensive coordinator role, meant getting Diego Pavia and Tim Beck and Jerry Kill on the offensive side of the ball, and it's paid big dividends here.
See what they have drawn up coming out of the timeout, 3rd and 6. Pavia with a check. Got to holler it out to Alexander.
Tough to do that right there in this place.
Play clock single digits. Pavia delivers to the edge and drop. Quincy Skinner had an opportunity for a first down catch. He's already got a touchdown tonight, and Vandy will have to punt it away.
Yeah, really good job in protection there. Didn't end up coming with pressure. Went for the one-on-one matchup. Skinner just wasn't looking, I think, at the same time that ball got
pass
released.
Ended up coming a little short. Was that a miscommunication on the route?
Well, I think Skinner was expecting it later downfield, so he got his eyes up late and didn't have time to adjust to it. Yeah, I think it did come out a little short, too.
Jesse Mirko punts it away. From the 17, Xavier Thomas. Long run to try and find some positive yardage. And he stays in bounds to pick up a few more. 54-yard punt, 11 on the return on a beautiful fall evening in Red Stick, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Dorian O'Kane in the studio. It's time for the Road to the Championship, presented by Mercedes-Benz. And Texas A&M's got a nice road to the SEC Championship, but it has hit a pothole, a speed bump, maybe a cliff as well. Cam Coleman, 2 touchdowns, 21-zip Auburn.
It is straight chaos. I mean, it's feeling, what we've had this season, 10 unranked teams have beaten top 10 teams already this season, which is the most since 2007, where the end of the season was just a total free-for-all. By the way, LSU took advantage of that in 07. Feels like we're on the pace for that. Aaron Anderson in motion. Aiden Durham next to Garrett Nussmeier. 3 and out, LSU's first possession, then they scored on their second. And Durham drops it. Well, Will Campbell came in as a top prospect on the offensive line.
Yeah, you can't get a better pocket than this. I love the way Brian Kelly described his left tackle. He said he's got, what do you call it, an economy of movement?
Yeah.
He said sometimes, you know, the GPS in practice, it's almost like he's sleeping. Like his heart rate never gets high. It's like he's not doing anything, but he's just so efficient with all his movements. It's fun to watch.
He said his player load is lower than normal.
Yeah.
And it's because of that economy of movement. Stood him up, and maybe a couple of yards for Durham that time. Cole, how about Will Campbell just bulldozing dudes?
The most amazing thing about what Brian Kelly said with that economy of movement or plays like this, his physicality. Look at those hands inside, continues to drive the feet, and then puts the belly on him at the end, which you absolutely love.
Showed up from Monroe, Louisiana in 22. He was the starting left tackle day 1 of camp. Freshman All-American.
Is that good?
That's pretty darn good.
It's not bad.
Think about the edge guys he's seen this year as well.
On 3rd and 9, a 4-man rush. Nussmeier gets out of there. Stays alive to fire downfield for a completion to Mason Taylor. And a 24-yard gain, and the chunk plays coming for LSU. That's their 3rd of the night.
Wow, and this time pressure comes off the right edge. Emory Jones, pretty good pockets. A great job by Garrett Nussmeier getting that ball out, and Mason Taylor coming back to him. That connection, the chemistry those two have, pretty special on full display there.
So on 1st down, they go back to the ground game and try to find the edge with a shake from Josh Williams. Cole, I wanted to ask you to follow up on Will Campbell. We saw Paul Mubenga really get taken advantage of last week against Florida, and so many times it seemed like Campbell, whether by design or not, was pulled away from helping his left guard. When you have a tackle that good and a guard that inexperienced, how can they work in sync to help each other out?
Yeah, I'll give it to you after this play.
2nd and 4. Nussmeier stays in the pocket again, and that one either over or underthrown.
The difficult part about that, Tom, is the way that some of the protections are structured for LSU. Will Campbell's going to be on an island. They design it that way because they know he can handle it. So if it's slide protection to him, you rush that outside rusher even further outside, so you pull him away from that guard. Also, when it's going the other direction away from him, you put somebody on the inside shoulder of the left guard, so you pull him away from Will Campbell. It's very difficult to design a protection for a tackle to help a guard. The surprising part last week was how much the center didn't help the left guard out.
Now 3rd and 4. Keeping it on the ground. Durham picks up a 1st down.
I mean, 66 again, just another pancake, cockroach, whatever you want to call it, getting a defender on the ground. I don't know how they measure hand strength here at LSU, but I would love to know his hand strength compared to some of the other great offensive linemen that have come through here.
How do you measure your hand strength? Outside the numbers, Lacey stays on his feet. It's popped from behind. Yeah, cockroach is a new term.
Yeah, that's a new one for me, Cole.
We used to have cockroaches were called when you got a defender on their back and their arms and legs were heading up in the air, so like a cockroach on their back. That was something that we got credit for. So you cockroach a defender, you kind of roll them over on their back. Will Campbell's had a bunch of those this year, but I'm just telling you guys, I haven't seen anybody else in college football in the last few years when they get their hands inside on a defender, he doesn't let them go. You can't get away from him. He's got some of the strongest hands I've seen for a college offensive lineman in a long time.
I picture Cole as a kid putting turtles on their back just to smirk at them.
Spin them.
Yeah.
There you go, confirmation.
Inside the red zone, LSU has struggled here this season, converting these into touchdowns. Well, another hole opened up by Caden Durham. Well, he can find a hole where it seems like there isn't one. The numbers for LSU in the red zone have not been good this season. Last year, 10th in the country in red zone touchdown percentage. This year, tied for 77th. What do you see as the difference?
Well, they had a Heisman winning quarterback, Jaden Daniels, that used his legs a lot, right? They ran the football really effectively in the red zone. They haven't been able to do that, only running once out of every 2 times, about 50% right now.
They also had a couple NFL receivers last year.
They did, yes, they did. So they're pretty good. But to me, they got to be able to run the football better down here. The windows start to constrict a little bit, and when you don't have a Brian Thomas and a Malik Neighbors that can win those one-on-ones, you got to be able to get it in somehow. So great run there by Caden Durham, and that's who they need to be down here in the red zone.
Brandon Fontenette helped off the field. He had that huge pick 6 in the win against Alabama. First ever win against the #1 team in school history. First and goal for LSU. Nussmeier. Whoa. I don't know if they even got him, but he tried to backtrack, and it goes for a sack for Vanderbilt. Issa Wataha was the nearest defender. Nussmeier limping around a little bit.
Yeah, Wataha right here going to be working on DJ Chester, the center. That's just a really good effort. A bull rush pushes him right into Nuss's lap, and yeah, Nuss kind of, I don't know what happened there. I think he got caught off guard that he had 2 guys coming. He saw the one, and he just went to the cockroach.
Second and goal. Set up a screen. Aaron Anderson. It's taken down at the 7. Well, Anderson has had a breakout season. Third-year sophomore out of Edna Carr High School in New Orleans. About halfway through fall camp, they ID'd Aaron Anderson as a guy who could have a breakout year playing behind those names you just mentioned last year.
He's really developed into an every down receiver. Kind of was a gadget guy at times last year. Just 12 receptions for 59 yards all last year. You see there 722 this year. They would like to get him going a little more downfield, but he's a guy they try to get the ball in his hands in space as much as possible.
Third and goal. Yeah, big Trey'Dez Green at the numbers on the bottom. Trying to go to him with a slant. He's taken down at the 2. DeRicky right with the stop. And LSU looking at 4th and goal from just outside the 3. You go for it?
Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier. He's pointing like, let's go for it. Looking at the sideline. Offense is staying out there.
Getting a little bit bigger. Kamori and Pimpton will come in at tight end. They're 8 for 18 on 4th down this season. Vanderbilt with complete substitutions. The 12th play of the drive.
Yeah, this is an area down here where Mason Taylor is a weapon. He's going to be just off the left tackle, off Will Campbell, off the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they like to sneak him in a little hide route behind the O-line. I think they had some issues on whether they were going to reset the play clock or not. There's about 18 LSU coaches out on the field right now.
They're going to bring big Trey'Dez Green back in.
The play ended on the left hash, not the right hash. It's 4th down.
The ball spotted on the wrong side of the field.
I was wondering what kind of witchcraft Brian Kelly was using to be able to get the ball spotted where he wanted to there.
And it's like they're going for 2. They thought they'd just put it anywhere.
Yeah, watch Mason Taylor right there. See if they can hide him under the line of scrimmage, maybe get him a matchup.
Green in motion. Nussmeier in zone through the hands of Trey'Dez Green. 2 sports standout will be playing basketball for LSU, but it's a 4th down stop for Vandy.
Yeah, went with the true freshman tight end, 6'7". Great target down here around the red zone. They left Mason Taylor in to help in protection on the right side. Just trying to exploit this one-on-one matchup on C.J. Taylor. Ball just a hair high. I still love rolling the dice there. 2 really good drives for LSU to start this game. Drove all the way downfield, had some momentum.
I'm more concerned with one of the photographers down here that took that one in the nose, and I believe his camera is done for the night.
Oh, he's going to have an early night off.
Easier to replace the camera than the nose.
That's very true.
Pavia will operate from inside the end zone. He's got Cedric Alexander off to his left. Second empty possession for LSU tonight. Braden Swinson wanting to get home, big number 4. Quickly to the edge. Open field tackle eventually made on the completion to Quincy Skinner. Major Burns first man there, and they just get back to the line. What's going through a quarterback's mind on the road, student section, Saturday night in Death Valley, operating from your own end zone?
Yeah, your operation, your internal clock has to speed up. As soon as you get to the last step of your drop and you step up and hitch once, the ball's either got to be out or you got to take off vertical and run. You can't scramble lateral. Don't want to take a sack down here.
That's the end of the first quarter.
LSU has dominated this series. They've won 9 in a row against Vanderbilt. But through one quarter, after Vandy struck first, we're locked at 7. Vandy and LSU on an SEC Saturday night. Back to SEC football, presented by T-Mobile 5G home internet. From Baton Rouge moments ago, Clark Lee with Cole Kublik.
Coach Lee, offense got off to a good start. How do you refine some of that momentum on that side of the football?
Well, it was a great start. I think we have to set up possession time now. So that was a one-shot touchdown. You know, we got to get our run game going so we can get into third and manageable, so we can convert, so we can control the game with our offense. Obviously, defensively, we were able to hold them there on 4th down, but this is a good offense. They're getting the ball into space. We got to do a better job tackling. So it's just we got to kind of settle in here and play our game. I expect us to do that here in the second quarter.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Only 2:32 the time of possession in the first quarter. The least amount of time of possession this year for Vandy in the opening frame. Pavia all alone in the end zone, second and long. To Skinner, turns it upfield, and that will set up 3rd and short. Zy Alexander with the stop. 3rd and 1 coming up. Well, time of possession is a stat that matters to Vanderbilt. This spread option offense run by Diego Pavia, and the 3 wins over 36 minutes. Time of possession. The loss is something totally different.
It's death by a million paper cuts. It's these dirty 3, 4, 5-yard runs that for much of the season they were able to get. Last couple weeks have been tough. A lot of shifts and motions to try to create advantages here in short yardage situations.
Now to the pistol. 3rd and 1. Pavia's got it, and he's got plenty of room. Diego Pavia weaves his way towards midfield. That's a 35-yard run for Diego Pavia.
I mentioned the shifts and motions. Watch these 2 tight ends motion, and then they're going to be pullers. And that means Whit Weeks there is trying to think about taking on a puller instead of where's Diego Pavia, and nobody left on the quarterback in a big play. Again, set up by those shifts, motions, creating leverage opportunities. That's the way they've been able to get this thing going. But as Clark Lee mentioned to us, he said teams have kind of figured this out a little bit over the last couple weeks. That haven't been as successful. That time hit big.
Best rushing quarterback in the league this year. They motion Newberry out. Pavia goes down the sideline. Whoa! Just off the fingertips of Skinner, laid out for it. He went straight Superman, and he's holding his head down on the sideline in front of the LSU bench. What an effort by Quincy Skinner, who already owns a 63-yard touchdown tonight. And the LSU training staff immediately over to check on him.
I think that's the 3rd time that Pavia's targeted Skinner downfield already in this game. They like the matchup on Zy Alexander there, number 14 for LSU. And it's a pretty good ball here and a great effort by Skinner. So close to coming down with it.
See the head bounce off the turf.
Yeah.
It would have hurt no matter the time of year, but you get into late November, the grass is thinned a little bit, that ground a little bit harder, a little chilly. So 2nd and 10 for Diego Pavia. Back to his running stats, but Jalen Milroe, they're the only 2 SEC quarterbacks who have thrown for over 1,500 and rushed for over 500. He's led his team in rushing in 5 out of 10 games this year. Newberry coming around. Pavia trying to find the screen. Newberry not in the right spot, and it's incomplete. The way LSU got 3 guys in the backfield, I assume they're going for a screen. I don't know if that was the case, though.
No, I don't think so. This is just the offensive line sliding left, and LSU had a stunt going back the opposite way.
Ooh, that's going to make you nervous.
Cole's got to be fuming down there. He hates slide protection enough.
That's not the way it's supposed to work right there.
No. They slid left. Great timing stunt by LSU. Going back against the grain. Left a couple guys scot-free.
Doors 1 and 2 on 3rd down tonight.
Looks like they're going to bring Whit Weeks off the edge here.
Here's a dump out with the pressure coming. Cedric Alexander hogtied at the 46 by Jordan Gilbert. So ball at the 47-yard line and looking at a 4th down. Brock Taylor's long this season is 57, a school record. And they're going to punt it away.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 more yards, and the analytics start to tell you on this side of the 50 in a tie game, that would be a go on 4th down here, but 4th and 5 a little long.
So it's the Australian Jesse Mirko to punt it away. Carry just a little too much for Vandy. It'll be a touchback after a 47-yarder. Locked at 7 early 2nd quarter in Baton Rouge. In Baton Rouge for second to last home game for this LSU program. They get Oklahoma. We'll be back here next Saturday night on ESPN for OU's first ever trip here. Here's a look at the path to Atlanta. Scenarios coming into tonight. Texas just needs to beat A&M next week after they knocked off Kentucky today 31-14. A&M is struggling. They're down 21-0 to Auburn. They've got to beat Auburn and then Texas. And Bama's got to beat Oklahoma tonight and knock off Auburn in the Iron Bowl. There are more scenarios than that. Those are the most straightforward scenarios that we have at our fingertips. Obviously, Georgia still in the mix. Caden Durham with the run and picks up 3 on 1st down. Ole Miss, the headliner today, lost in Gainesville 24-17. I want to look at it from another perspective. What a finish for Billy Napier right now.
Back-to-back top 25 wins at the Swamp. I mean, the job that he has done when everybody had him left for dead early in the season, gave him no chance to do anything, let alone keep his job. And all he's done is let this team fight back to bowl eligibility. And
Gators defense had 2 picks, 4 sacks, and 9 tackles for a loss. Nussmeier hands it off. And once again, holes opening up for Caden Durham.
Yeah, just really good push early on here from this LSU offensive line. As we mentioned, no Garrett Dellinger, still out. Paul Mabinga goes at left guard. They do get Miles Frazier back at right guard. He missed the Florida game with an injury.
Dellinger hurt his ankle in the A&M game. Hasn't played since. Was not a participant in their walkthrough yesterday, the indoor facility here. Here's the check. And they go on the backside slant. Kyron Lacey, the intended receiver, couldn't squeeze it. And Vanderbilt playing with some emotion now.
Boy, that was such a good job by Garrett Nussmeier, working his eyes to the right at first to get the underneath linebacker to move. Comes back to the short dig backside to Kyron Lacey. And the ball's got to be a little behind him. It was more on his chest, but that's to protect him from Langston Patterson, the linebacker right there, and that's one that Kyron Lacey normally brings down.
So another punt for Blake Oschendorf. A short one, fair catch asked for at the 40 and made in traffic after a 34-yard punt. Well, early scoring got us excited that this one might turn into a shootout. They've hit the brakes since. Diego Pavia, Mr. Energy. And the Commodore offense will be on the field when we return.
Fly down to see the islands. She ain't even bring a
Not since Vandy's first football season in 1890 had the Doors had so many firsts in a single year. First win over an AP Top 5 team. First win at Jordan-Hare. First bowl since 2018. And tonight, perhaps their first win in Death Valley since November 10th, 1951. The same day the first transcontinental phone service was offered.
I'm going to stay away from that. I've already delivered one shot to you. But I will say this, Jordan Rodgers. It must be a really fun season for you and the guys that you played with and went to school with to experience this. And you've been experienced it from afar. You weren't there for the Bama game, for example. They've switched it up, and Nate Johnson in a quarterback now eludes a tackler and bursts through to pick up nearly 9 on first down.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you could have said negatively about the hair. The hair was gorgeous. I don't know, natural highlights, flowing, feathered. They don't just make that every day. No, it's fun though, right? Because me and some of the guys from that 2011, 2012 team, you see there, Zach Stacy in the background. I mean, that's a good look, man. That is,
sure.
You know, a little bit of an awkward phase. I was growing it out, but little pudgy cheeks, you know, hit the weight room.
You look like Zac Efron in that wrestling movie you just did.
Oh, I'll take that. But, you know, it is fun for us because we lived it. We had a bunch of firsts back in 2011, 2012 as we got on our run. But to see this team do some things that we couldn't even accomplish, it's been really fun to watch. Really proud.
Pavia back in at quarterback and delivers a strike to the edge. That run by Johnson was good enough for a first down. And they're going to mark that one out of bounds after a pickup of 9.
Well, Cole, how do you feel about the cut blocks? Because that offensive line that time, all 5 guys took one step back and then just went for some kneecaps.
Yeah, quick protection, so you know that ball is going to come out quick and it's going to be a shorter pass. The main thing there is just get the hands of the defenders down. It's not really to accomplish a block. You got to get those hands down so the ball can come out and not get batted.
Cole do that hit from the Peloton? 2nd and 1. Alexander finds some room on the left side.
There's some things that you just don't really see in this day and age anymore. We used to do a ton of cut block. I mean, that was quick game. We were under center doing 3-step. They don't do that anymore. You don't see many teams go across the board just slicing kneecaps.
Cole, why did it go the way of the dodo?
You got me on that one. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, why don't we see
the cut box? Why is it gone?
The dodo bird is extinct, but
correct.
That's because sailors
I never even know it was stink, so I had no idea where you were going with that. I think you're trying to avoid chop blocks since that's become something that's called a lot more. And if you have one guy who stays up on accident, then all of a sudden they're going to throw that flag. It's going to be 15 yards.
That's a good point. So you need all 5 to do it in tandem. Avoid those flags. Full house backfield, and Lonnie Jones gets his first touch of the night.
And I will say, with how much the quick game is now centered around the RPOs, that there's less need to just call a quick pass. You might as well call a run with the option to turn it into a free access pass very easily. So I think that's kind of replaced a lot of the traditional quick game that we used to see in pro style systems and spread systems. The RPO game has really taken off.
And that can be a little bit problematic too, like the LSU offense. They want everything to be married to something else that they do. And that not having to call it and run it sometimes gets you away from things that just work.
Big play of the drive for Vanderbilt. For another LSU 3-and-out on 2nd and 7. They try to run it, and nothing happening for Cedric Alexander. Dominic McKinley, big freshman, was the first man there.
You can really tell once again, Savion Jones, defensive end, came off the edge, just flying. They're not sitting back and reading the zone read, the quarterback read. Watch him come flying off the edge here. Most of the time, that defensive end that's unblocked will kind of sit and read, try to play both. No. They're going to have somebody else for the quarterback. They're trying to blow up the mesh and create TFLs right now.
He's a long strider, Savion Jones at 6'6". is complete. Forward progress will have a first down catch. Loic Fungie's first catch of the night.
What little pressure closing in on Pavia here. Savion Jones once again wins, but the ball's out on time. Really accurate in traffic to Fungie.
By the way, we haven't seen Eli Stowers be part of the game plan yet tonight. In fact, he's not on the field right now. He's their leading receiver as an NFL caliber tight end. Out of the pistol again. Hoskins comes around. First man gets it. And then Cedric Alexander takes it inside the 25. Clark Lee told Cole at the end of the first quarter, we got to get back to who we are in terms of ramping up the time of possession, controlling the line of scrimmage, and being able to hold the ball. Now this possession nearing 5 minutes.
Well, and that run right there, exactly who they need to be. A 5-yard run on first down, right? Get to second and median. Give yourself a two-way option where you could pass it or run it. They just do a really good job of setting up third and shorts. Wouldn't be surprised if they went back to the ground game or got Pavia out of the pocket here.
See what Tim Beck has dialed up. Fake the sweep. Pavia escapes somehow. Another Houdini move for number 2. And he picks up a couple of yards and gives him third and manageable instead of a sack and a loss of 5.
Boy, what did I say? When you're rushing Pavia, you got to be really careful as you're coming off the edge here. 2 guys off the edge, Savion Jones and a blitzer from the outside, of not getting past Pavia, right? He is able to step up, get skinny, duck, do all these crazy things to avoid hitters. You almost got to stop your feet 2 or 3 yards before you get to him and just wait.
He watches Johnny Manziel's sizzle reels before every game to get him fired up.
That looked like Johnny right there.
On 3rd and 3, a lot of misdirection, and they turn to an option look. Stowers gets his first touch and gets tripped up in the backfield. Good read by Sage Ryan. Stowers ends up picking up a yard. This will leave 4th and 2.
Well,
and leave the offense on the field.
And you had just mentioned we hadn't seen much or talked much about Eli Stowers. Really, their best weapon on offense that time. He was the orbit triple option guy from the tight end position. Pretty unique play.
Will be well within the range of Brock Taylor at 37 yards, but they're going to go for it. Sherrill in the backfield motions. Pavia with the baby roll, pulls back. Now fires, and a little bit behind Skinner, and incomplete. And a turnover on downs for Vanderbilt. The decision, try and hit the big shot and keep the drive alive versus kicking a field goal.
Well, I kind of like it, right? It just feels like the way this game is going. We've seen LSU go for it on a 4th down. Whit Weeks does a great job there of closing in on Pavia, making him get rid of that ball maybe a step before he wanted to. Skinner had just come open, and because of the pressure from Weeks, Pavia not able to get his momentum going downhill, falling away on that throw, and ended up being on the back shoulder.
Tim Beck knows that one just missed. 4:22 to go before the half, and a 10-play drive comes up empty. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik, our fantastic crew in Baton Rouge, where we are tied at 7. Here comes pressure from the edge. Nussmeier fires to his tight end. That's Kamorian Pimpton, who's 6'6", 242, only his 4th catch of the season. Pimpton's a guy that'd like to get more involved in this offense to complement what Mason Taylor also does at the tight end position.
Yeah, tried to last week, had a drop in that game on a 3rd down, I believe, where they tried to leak him out into the flats. Such a talented kid. When it clicks for him, he's going to be dangerous.
It's hard to consider it 12 personnel. They have 2 tight ends in the field, but they're both split out. Here's Taylor in motion. And a handoff running behind Taylor, but Vandy in there to undercut Williams, led by Randon Fontenette. LSU went 3 and out on its first possession, put together a nice drive on its second for the tying score, and came up empty on a 70-yard drive on its third. Then another 3 and out. Brian Kelly has become more hands-on with the offense. In practice yesterday, he spent about the entire time right off Joe Sloan's hip, going through everything in the walkthrough to the perimeter. And here's C.J. Daniels. It's a first down for Daniels. I was talking to Joe Sloan about that, and he said, you know, to have someone of Coach Kelly's stature offer a different set of eyes and a different look at everything that I'm trying to accomplish offensively is a bit of a security blanket, right? Because he knows not only what works, but he also gets a better feel for what I see when things don't work, whether that be in practice or in game.
It's almost like when you roll the Christmas puzzles out and you sit there and you're staring at it for 2 hours and you can't figure out that next piece, and someone comes along and finds it in 2 seconds. Sometimes it takes a fresh set of eyes to go, man, we're doing a little bit too much of this, or what if we tried this little wrinkle, and you can really unlock some new pieces as we see Garrett Nussmeier trying to hit Mason Taylor down the middle of the field there.
Cole, are you a puzzle guy?
A little bit. I'm puzzled at Brian Kelly's placing he's got his hand on there and just how much more input he has in this offense. Told us in our meetings that he was a lot more involved recently.
Yeah. On second down after the incompletion, Josh Williams carries it. And he said, listen, if something's not right with our program, the buck stops with the head coach. I am ultimately accountable, so you can understand if something needs to be fixed, he wants to be hands-on. Only 17 points a game over the last 3. Flags down. Nussmeier down the sideline for the completion to C.J. Daniels, and we'll see what the flag was for. Oh, but that's where LSU wanted to attack Vanderbilt this entire night. Trying to work the perimeter as Texas did in the Longhorns win in Nashville 6 weeks ago. We'll have the 2-minute timeout as soon as we get a call from the officials.
Offside. Defense number 2 in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalty is declined. First down. 2-minute timeout.
That was Randon Fontenette who was across the line. 1:55 left in the low-scoring first half. Vandy struck first. Pavia to Skinner. LSU answered, but since then, both offenses stuck in the mud.
All right, Regions Big halftime report around the corner. Dari Doring-Watson. There's a lot of drama on the Plains and in Norman. What are you seeing here?
LSU's got to find a way to finish drive. Yeah, need more plays for Vandy. Only 20 plays so far.
All right, see y'all shortly.
All right, gentlemen, you got plenty to talk about. Josh Williams with the run, and LSU showing a little tempo here. 2-minute offense.
Yeah, we still haven't really seen them take that shot play, the one early to Kyron Lacey on the play action, that over route. Haven't really seen them try to take the top off yet. Sometimes in second and short here, this is the opportune time to test one downfield.
Well, I thought they were going tempo, but then they took their time getting to the line. 4-man rush. Pocket starts to collapse, and it's a sidearm shot to Josh Williams down to the 22. Marking at the 21-yard line, and a first down for LSU.
And that's been a little bit of the evolution of Garrett Nussmeier, right? A couple games this year, he's made critical mistakes that have turned into big-time interceptions. 2 against Bama, 2 against Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Not forcing the ball when it's not there downfield. Yeah. They try to take a shot, just checking it down.
I think you sold him short. I thought it was 3 against A&M.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. Things got sideways in a hurry in that game. There's a big hole. Josh Williams. Touchdown LSU. 21-yard run for Williams.
Boy, watch Mabinga pull around with a big block, and then Mason Taylor with a big block as well. Mabinga filling in for Garrett Dellinger after struggling last week. Couple big blocks to get Josh Williams going downfield. This is a different physical LSU running game tonight.
And they're looking for explosives. Here's where they've come from. Coming into the game, they only had 2 touchdown runs of 20 yards or longer over the course of the entire season. They've got 2 here tonight. And LSU with its first lead of the game. On the 4th touchdown, rushing touchdown of the season from Josh Williams. This guy doesn't need much sunlight, does he? Like a bowling ball through a wedding ring. Let's take a look at Fansville, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Well, they even got the memo on the gold jerseys.
What time do you think they start painting? Because it's peeling a little bit, you know? They're probably nice and well oiled up at this point.
Hey, we saw Bill Belichick pregame. I'm surprised he's not in with those guys dancing around.
Yeah, weird. He seems like a chest paint kind of guy. Post head coach. He's doing podcasts and TV shows, you know. Wouldn't that just be fitting? See him front row, shirt off.
Yeah, it would be fitting. He's been in Baton Rouge for the last few days, I was told, hanging out. Went to see Mike the Tiger. You don't think he'd be a good fit for the Saints, do you?
Is that a question? It's a good fit for any football team ever.
I'm just saying, he's in the state. They have an opening.
3rd grade Pop Warner, the Saints, it doesn't matter. He's the GOAT.
Diego Pavia tonight, 6 of 9 for 93. We mentioned Eli Stowers, who's climbing draft boards as a fullback H-back, but traditional tight end, as we've seen him over the course of the season. He's only been targeted once, and that was on an option look. And I don't even think he's on the field right now. He's their leading receiver. There he is. He's top of the formation on the inside receivers. Five wide, 4 to the right. Pavia that direction. Wide open, and up the sideline is Junior Sherrill.
Well, that's one of the staples of this Vanderbilt offense under Tim Beck, moving the pocket, getting Pavia outside the pocket. Do it on about 20% of their pass plays, which is 3rd most in the FBS. When you got an athletic quarterback, a little shorter in stature, get him out in some open space, take advantage of the free access there.
Likely talking analytics. Close out this first half, under a minute to play. Commodores have a pair of timeouts left. And when do they use those timeouts? Pavia delivers a dart. Junior Sherrill, consecutive catches. That is just shy of the marker.
Here, yeah.
That's a pretty good spot, but not enough for the first down.
Timeout, Vanderbilt. Their second at the half. 30-second timeout.
And Commodores out of this timeout will have a 2nd and 1. Now word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
This is the start of something fun. The kind that's best had outdoors. And with the right stuff at the right price. The most wonderful time of year happens here. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there.
14-7, LSU with its first lead of the night late in the 2nd quarter. And now Vandy looking at a 2nd and 1 with 1 timeout remaining. How do you play in this one?
Well, this is where you got to be really careful if you're this defensive front for LSU, because you're in the mode of thinking pass rush. And what have we been talking about? What was the video I showed you earlier about those pass rush lanes creating run-through opportunities for Pavia? And with still 1 timeout, you wouldn't mind if he takes off and tries to pick up 10 or 15 here to get you in a potential field goal situation.
Pavia 8 of 11 for $115 through the air. Most of that coming on 1 pass to Skinner. Covered 63. Pavia straight drop, lobs it to an out route over the hands of Richie Hoskins and incomplete. 3rd and 1. Hoskins, former walk-on, was a lacrosse player at Middlebury College to start his athletic career. 3rd and 1. And that one whistled before the snap got off, and movement on Vanderbilt.
think it's going to be right tackle Chase Mitchell.
Before the snap, false start, offense number 9. 5-yard penalty, third down.
And they got Stowers.
Police reset the game clock to 31 seconds.
Stowers
31.
and Mitchell, I think, both flinched on the right side of that offensive line. You see both these guys right here end up flinching just a little bit right before this snap. Mitchell was leaning. Stowers probably saw that. Now you got a much tougher third down situation here.
31 seconds remain in the half. Pressure. Pavia backtracks and he sends that one to the sideline. Freshman Devon Keys got in Pavia's face.
And a really good job there of pass rush and pass rush lane integrity. Not leaving any green grass for Pavia to run up through the line of scrimmage.
Number 3 was in the area. Fourth down.
So Jesse Mirko sent to punt it away. Xavier Thomas stands at his own 12. Low kick catches a bound Vandy Hop. And nearly touched by Thomas, but it rolls dead eventually after a 50-yarder. A little bump and run for Jesse Mirko. 14 seconds left for Garrett Nussmeier. 14 of 19 for a $157 is Nussmeier.
Yeah, he's been efficient this first half. His decision making is really what stands out. Checking the ball down when he needs to, taking the free access throws that this soft zone scheme from Vanderbilt affords you. Couple chunk plays here and there. And they're going to go to halftime and be pretty happy with where this offense has been in the first half, and especially the balance, the run game.
Total plays 35. They've run it 16 times and thrown it 19. Coming up at the half, you can watch the live performance of the Golden Band from Tigerland. Flumes are ready, and they are taking the field. Go to SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. Cole is with Brian Kelly.
Coach Kelly, you told us when we met with you this week that sometimes when things are bumpy, you got to fix the football first. You had 2 touchdown runs of 20 yards or more on the season coming into this game. You have 2 tonight. To what extent is that part of your offense?
Well, you've got to have a demeanor. You've got to run the football. This is a team that is going to give you an opportunity to run it. We've got to run the ball. We broke a lot of tackles. Obviously, our eyes weren't right on the first play of the game. Other than that, these kids have played pretty good.
You gave up one pretty big run attacking the mesh, but it feels like that aspect of your defense has turned out well.
Yeah, we were in good position. We got to do our job. This is triple option in a lot of ways. We got guys that are out of position. They got to stay locked in, do their job. If they do that in the second half, we'll be in good shape.
Thanks, Coach.
Remember, Brian Kelly faced a triple every year. He was at Notre Dame against Navy, and they've held Vandy to 7. After a messy month, LSU's getting right tonight with a touchdown lead at the half. To the studio, Doring Benjamin.
All righty, time to thank you much. It is time for the Regions Bank halftime report. 14-7 LSU. And what impresses you most about the way LSU has taken advantage of the few opportunities, frankly, it feels like they've had?
Well, I think it's just their response. Obviously, Vanderbilt comes out, has that big pass to Quincy Skinner at the first play of the game. They go down 7-0, then LSU gets the ball back. They go 8 plays, 90 yards to score a touchdown of their own. But also Garrett Nussmeier, you heard about his decision-making, no interceptions, which has been a problem as of late, 74% completion percentage for him. And so I think the offense, coupled with a run game that they've got going, nearly 100 yards rushing, has helped this team in general kind of bounce back and get back to form.
Yeah, think about the things that we've been frustrated with LSU this year. Their inability to run the ball, where they're averaging almost 6 yards a carry in the first half, and their inability to stop the run. They've done a nice job there. And after giving up the 63-yard touchdown pass, no more explosive passing plays from Vanderbilt's offense. So they've kept everything in front of them after that.
All right, 14-7. We're going to get a good second half here. It will have to be, because what we've seen in this league so far today has been insanity, and it continues this evening. We go to Norman for example A, I suspect. Oklahoma sitting at 5-5 and a miserable offense at his senior night. Norman and Alabama with a playoff Opportunity squarely in front of them is visiting Jalen Milroe, Ryan Williams. Now, Williams steps out of bounds at around the 10, and that results in a field goal for Alabama. So 3-0 Crimson Tide. But, guys, Oklahoma's offense looks incredibly different than it has all conference season long.
Their offense is doing two things. They're moving the football, and they're keeping Jalen Milroe on the sideline. Only 23 snaps for the Alabama offense in the first half, largely because they've been able to run the football and convert on third down.
And Jackson Arnold's been using his legs.
No question.
95 yards on the ground for Jackson Arnold. Guys, it's 10-3 Sooners at the half. Stunning right now. Okay, Auburn, Texas, I should say, taking on Kentucky. Quinn Ewers, Gunnar Helm. Touchdown, 21-7 Texas. It was 7-7, and then Texas asserted themselves.
Yeah, the big tight end there. 2 touchdowns on the day, but it was the run game for Texas that kind of came alive. We'll see it a little later, but in the fourth quarter, they have 2 late quarter drives at 119 yards of rushing, 23 rushes to kind of take it over.
That second half, though, they did not do well on offense for the most part. Then they decided they were going to line up and run the football, primarily with Trey Wisner, who rushed the ball 11 times on a 15-play drive for 61 yards and finished that drive off with a touchdown run.
Now, here he is after the Jaden Blue run. Wisner, 26 carries, 158 yards. Played a little smash mouth against Kentucky, 31-14. Texas gets the win. They await Texas A&M in College Station next week. Wild game here, Florida and Ole Miss. Ole Miss hadn't beaten Florida since the Gators won the title in 2008. They got the lead. Jackson Dart, Caden Lee, 14-7 Rebels. Then DJ Lagway to Jaden Baugh out in the flat. 25 yards, Gators tie the ball.
Freshman to freshman right there. Young players making plays on both sides of the ball today for the Florida Gators.
Third quarter. How about the Florida defense? Again, another example today. J.J. Pegues, direct snap on 4th and 1, and they're not having it.
Not today, J.J.
325 pounds. You stop him by playing team defense.
Montrell Johnson then into the end zone, 24-17. Gators sat at 1-2 at one point. ESPN gave them a 7% chance to get to 6 wins. Folks, they got to 6 wins. Defense continuing to step up, and some questionable throws by Jackson Dart down the stretch.
Yeah, a lot of bad throws, bad decisions by Jackson Dart. He's been really good all season, but you can't throw the ball into a team meeting of the opposite jersey. The fourth quarter was tough for him, 2 interceptions in that fourth quarter alone.
Ole Miss, a season-high 3 turnovers in the game. Dart, 2 picks, which he had not done in the last 2 seasons in a single game. What a win for the Florida Gators, 24-17. A deep dive coming up after we're done in Baton Rouge on SEC Football Final. Meanwhile, Quincy Skinner on the receiving end of that beauty from Diego Pavia. Vandy struck first, but it's been LSU striking twice since, 14-7.
This halftime report is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
Welcome back to the Regions Bank halftime report. Dory Doring Watson. Let's roll through some more Week 13 action. Missouri visiting Mississippi State. Bullies still looking for their first SEC victory of the Jeff Lebby era. First quarter, Michael Van Buren scrambling, running, losing the football, and Dalen Carnell goes 68 the other way for the touchdown.
Yeah, scoop and score by Missouri's defense. Kind of got the scoring bonanza started for Missouri.
5th all-time meeting between these two, but Mizzou hadn't won in a cool 40 years against Mississippi State. Brady Cook. Watch Luther Burden's adjustment at the last
And Dar,
moment.
you know what I love? The fact that we're still seeing Luther Burden play as hard as he is. For a while there, he was just a forgotten man in this offense, and he's battled back today the last 2 weeks with big touchdown catches.
21 career touchdown catches. Can you imagine if he'd been targeted more in the 1st and 3rd years of his
shudder to think.
career? I mean, I don't know if it's that big a deal. You should not shudder.
Shudder me.
Georgia and UMass. Carson Beck, Dominic Lovett, 15 yards.
What do we want to see from them today, B-Dub?
Receivers catch the ball and hold on to it.
That's right. Arian Smith with a big day today, over 100 yards receiving for the Bulldogs.
Beck to Cole Spear. How about Carson Beck? 4 touchdowns, and he found 12 different pass catchers.
Got the swag back, Dari.
They kind of do, right? Georgia Tech comes to visit next week. Take care of business, Georgia, but suddenly Georgia might be staring an SEC championship game in the face at something. Sorry, B-Dub. I'm just telling you, scenarios are
Don't say
changing by
sorry.
the minute.
Fantastic.
Well, I know B-Dub gave you, though.
No, they'll take it. They ain't afraid.
Tennessee, UTEP. Dylan Sampson, 14-7 zip.
They're not shuddering.
Nah,
They're shuddering.
a trip to Atlanta. Nico Iamaleava, 4 touchdown passes.
No interceptions.
No. Career high for Nico. Career best 2 touchdown catches for Brew McCoy. Tennessee's got Vandy in Nashville next week, but of course, you Doors fans watching already know that. You already also know Josh Williams has found the end zone, and it's LSU with the lead.
The SEC Championship game, Saturday, December 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern on ABC.
There's never been a playoff like this. The new 12-team college football playoff begins with the first round December 20th and 21st.
Texas A&M, they've got the big one against Texas at home next weekend. But they got to take care of Auburn first if they want all their dreams to stay alive. That's Jarquez Hunter from 2 yards out. Auburn strikes first. They didn't just strike first, guys. They struck second as well. That's Cam Coleman, the freshman, who's come on big of late.
They discovered him last week. 3 touchdowns last week, 2 in the first half today. That's 5 in 6 quarters, though.
Guys, they didn't just strike first and second. They struck first, second, and third. Cam Coleman again. 21 zip.
Don't lie to the people, Dar.
Marcel Reed trying to keep his Aggies around, and he does. 21-7 at that point. Auburn, that's the score early in the third over Texas A&M. All right, South Carolina taking on Wofford. The Terriers. Lenora Sellers signing autographs, wearing glasses.
Get the specs on.
Yeah, he did.
Not for the game, though.
Not for the game. Rocket, look at Rocket just stiff-arming those little puppies. Look at that. One puppy down,
2,
one
Back to
left
his
over.
old form.
Yep.
Grown man.
It's good to see him succeeding. Sellers, bang, touchdown. DeLe'Veon Campbell, 56-12, no problem, nor should there have been. They've won 5 in a row, however, and they got Clemson next week. You think Clemson wants any part of that team right now?
Negative.
Negative. Arkansas, Louisiana Tech, Razorbacks trying to get bowl eligible and would do it. Taylon Green with a highlight type of play.
Using those legs. One of the best quarterbacks in the nation at scrambling.
Yep.
Did that a lot today. 2 touchdowns on the ground.
61 yards on the ground as well. Arkansas, no problem, 35-14. Okay, SEC football final coming up when we're done in Baton Rouge. And there is going to be no shortage of conversation with games that are happening, how they're happening, the improbable is happening, the SEC championship game scenarios. A&M just scored a touchdown. Noah Thomas from Marcel Reed. Oklahoma just picked off Jalen Milroe. They're inside the Bama 5, already up 10-3. Look, if OU beats Bama and if A&M doesn't come back and beat Auburn, Georgia is guaranteed a spot in the SEC title.
This is pure chaos.
It is absolute chaos.
It's actually happening. We talk about it all the time, and it never happens. It's actually happening.
It's wild. Anything you want to add real quick?
Wow.
He'll say more later. All righty. The second half is next. Josh Williams, another touchdown. There's a lot to keep you posted on through these next 30 minutes, and we will.
This halftime report is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
Welcome back to SEC Football from Baton Rouge. Presented tonight by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. LSU riding a 9-game win streak head-to-head with Vanderbilt in a series that the Tigers have absolutely dominated over the course of their series history, dating all the way back to 1902. Time now for Every Detail Counts, brought to you by Pfizer.
how it's really been the run game this first half for LSU, getting going 97 yards on the ground. Haven't really seen this, and what has it done? It set up the play action. Look at all these linebackers sucking up from that run game, and that's when those explosive plays downfield start to open up. Kyron Lacey on the deep crosser. That's what this LSU offense has really been missing in this 3-game skid, is those explosive plays, and really it's been the lack of run game, but they got it rolling so far tonight.
Tom Jordan, cold down on the field. The inefficiency of this LSU offense is still there, inconsistency. So how do they solve that part?
Well, I think you just continue to take what the defense is giving you. I think that's what we've seen from Garrett Nussmeier this first half. He hasn't been afraid to just check it down, take the free access throws to the field in the zone, in the soft spaces. He's done a good job of not pushing too hard when those explosives haven't been there.
Second half underway in Baton Rouge. No return here. Let's check in with Cole.
Tom, I caught up with Vanderbilt head football coach Clark Lee coming out from halftime. I said, do you need to add in the run game? And he said, we are struggling when we're splitting our safeties. Probably going to need to pressure a little bit more, add to that box to try and take away from LSU's rushing attack. He said, it looks like they want to turn this into more of a bully ball game, so we're going to have to make that adjustment.
LSU's run for 97 yards of their 254-yard total. Meanwhile, Diego Pavia owns wins against Bama and Auburn. Be the first in the last, probably the second in the last quarter century to get Bama, Auburn, and LSU in the same season since Chad Kelly did it for Ole Miss. First pass went for 63 yards and a touchdown for Pavia tonight. Give to Cedric Alexander, finds room off tackle and picks up 5 on first down.
Yeah, that's a great start for Vanderbilt. They really couldn't get the ground game going in the first half, just 64 yards. And these dirty runs, these 4- or 5-yard runs, so important for Vanderbilt to, as Clark Lee mentioned in his interview with Cole, milk some of the clock, get the time of possession rolling, get into better second and third down situations. That's who this team is at their identity. I know we saw the explosive play to start the game, but they're much more about getting small chunks over and over and over again and getting long drives going.
Cole Spence motions, and Pavia hands it off, and a big run for A.J. Newberry to pick up a first down. Vanderbilt has struggled in this sense. Opening drive the second half this season, they've only scored 1 touchdown, and that came last time out against South Carolina prior to the bye week.
A.J. Newberry a little banged up there after a big run. Still haven't seen Eli Stowers really get involved as a pass catcher. They're all-everything tight end. Leads all tight ends in the SEC in yards. Love to get him involved here early in the second half.
They flip he and Spence to the left side, short side. Back to the field. And wanted to go to him, and Pavia has to throw it away. Well defended by LSU. Whit Weeks was all over Eli Stowers.
Yeah, really good job by Whit Weeks. Braden Swinson's going to be in the face right here of Pavia, and Whit Weeks is going to do a really good job of reading it here and then going with Eli Stowers as he comes back across the line of scrimmage. You see Weeks kind of got his eyes in the backfield because he's responsible for quarterback run as well, but then leaks off for the tight end.
Second and 10. Option look, and a shovel pass to the inside to Stowers. They used that play to dissect Alabama in the big win in Nashville. Parrish Shand with the stop.
Yeah, they used it, and then probably about 150 high schools across the country then used it the very next week, probably with a bunch of success as well.
Well, it's kind of a throwback option offense, as Brian Kelly told Cole at halftime. The spread look. And Pavia well versed in the intricacies of this offense. Facing a 3rd and 8 here. Stowers was telling us that he'll audible in the middle of pre-snap and just tell his guys what to run. He keeps it himself, calls his own number, and looks like he got it. First down run. In fact, Stowers was telling us that in the Auburn game, Pavia saw the safety split, and he just turned to the running back and said, hey, just run a seam here. You'll be wide open.
And hit him for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I went back and found that play after he told us that, and it's pretty apparent. You can see him on film saying, yeah, go do this. And sure enough, they completed for a touchdown. Just wild.
Yeah, it's like street ball, right? I mean, it's like draw a play up in the dirt, and we'll go execute.
The ruling on the field is the ball carrier made the line to gain. The previous play is under further review.
They're going to check the spot on this Diego Pavia run.
Yeah, it's really going to be where his knee comes down. Right there. Where's the ball when that knee comes down?
When was the knee down?
Does it come down, or does he, or is it the elbow first?
It looked like the elbow was first, and it was.
But even if
still
it was,
shy.
yeah, I was going to say, even if it was the elbow, it looks like it's maybe just past the 45 there, but still short. So
yeah, they had to get all the way to the 46.
Yeah, I don't think the knee comes down. I think that elbow is first, and to me, it looks like it's going to maybe be about a half yard short.
All right, so you're Vanderbilt. You're down a touchdown.
Roll the dice.
Go for it, right?
Yeah. Look, you got a bowl in the back pocket, right?
Yeah.
You got to 6 wins. You're not going to finish out this season with a couple wins against LSU and Tennessee by being conservative. You're just not. So I love that already we've seen Clark Lee roll the dice and go for it on 4th. I think you would here again as well.
And think about the contrast between these programs. LSU bowl eligible for the 25th consecutive season. Bowl representatives show up at Death Valley and everybody rolls their eyes and say, we don't want to go to a bowl. We want to go to the college football playoff. Like, that is our goal here at LSU. And after they'd won 6 in a row, they thought that. Meanwhile, this is a Vanderbilt program that's bowl eligible for the first time since 2018.
After further review, the ball carrier did not make the line to gain. After the ball will be placed on the 40-yard line, it'll be 4th down.
They meant the 45-yard line, but it'll be 4th and 1. And it's a back of the ball on the 45, so 4th and less than 1. ESPN Analytics say go for it if it were 4th and 4 and less, and it is significantly less. A long huddle on the sideline. This Vanderbilt offense.
Yeah, I think this is where you use Pavia as a weapon, as a runner. Give him a running back and a tight end as lead blockers. Try to get him going in the C gap, just inside the tackle.
Take advantage of those edges that have been super aggressive tonight.
A traditional fullback, Gabe Fisher, right behind Pavia in an old school I formation.
This is a Clark Lee formation. Former Vandy fullback. Second man gets it and picks up the first down. Cedric Alexander. By the way, Oklahoma's Kip Lewis with a pick 6 moments ago on Jalen Milroe. Sooners have a 20-point lead on Bama.
Jeez.
Kip Lewis better in the state of Alabama than Diego Pavia is.
I love the call, right? Just get an I formation. I thought maybe they'd go a little pistol or gun and QB run.
I kind of thought maybe they'd try to get him to jump.
Yeah.
Well, what do we know?
Or when you go under center like that, sometimes you notice, hey, they've left an A gap open. You can just sneak it. So sometimes that'll actually be an option or an alert on that call for the quarterback.
So fresh set of downs for Vandy after they convert the 4th and short. Pavia has to again lob it out of bounds with pressure in his face. It came from Braden Swinson, the Oregon transfer. Mel Kiper's got him as the number 4 outside linebacker on his draft board.
Yeah, they've been really aggressive, as Cole just mentioned, on the edges. And man, Whit Weeks is playing really well. He is plastering these tight ends in what we call these hide routes, when they're trying to come from one side to the other underneath the offensive line to kind of simulate that split zone flow. Whit Weeks has been all over it 3 or 4 times tonight.
Weeks pushing on 100 tackles for the season. He had 17 in the Alabama game. To the slant, first down on the catch and run for Junior Sherrill. It's a pickup of 18.
Well, just the perfect play call. As soon as the receiver goes in motion, that safety to that side blitzes, so it just opens up. You see there, blitzing opens up a huge hole for that slant route and soft coverage on Zy Alexander. And a great pickup by Junior Sherrill.
9th play of the drive for Vanderbilt. Be another 5+ minute drive. Low snap. And that threw off the timing just a little bit. Vandy manages just one.
And that thing came back slow, almost like it got either stuck in the grass or grip wasn't on it. Lost grip on the football just a little bit as the ball was beginning to be snapped. But tough one for Pavia to handle.
You know what it did, Cole? I think it hit the center's butt. Watch this. Yeah.
Yep.
It put it right up.
What? Finish that thought, please.
I
want you to end up on awful announcing. Finish that thought.
Just right between the cheeks.
2nd and 9.
Sometimes you start a sentence, you're not sure where it's going to finish. And
yeah, I'm glad you didn't. Nate Johnson in a quarterback calls his own number. And he's been in there for 2 plays, and he's got about 18 yards of rushing on 2 snaps. It was a quarterback competition late in the camp between Nate Johnson and Diego Pavia. And Johnson, who was a 4-star recruit, number 4 in his class coming out of Clovis High School in Fresno, is going to stay on the field for this 3rd and short. Flag and a whistle, and they'll bring that one back. And they'll go from 3rd and 2.
Before the snap, false start, offense number 55. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Yeah, new quarterbacks, so the cadence, even though it's a clap, the cadence and the rhythm to which you're signaling for that snap, a little different. So Gunnar Hansen jumps there. But I think we're seeing a little bit more of Nate Johnson. As you can see, Gunnar, left tackle here. He's going to be the guy that jumps just a little early. But remember, Diego Pavia is really banged up.
Yeah.
The bye week was great, but he's a walking bandage right now. So if they can take him out, get Nate in for a couple of those design quarterback runs, take a few hits off Pavia, they're going to do it.
Pavia and the rest of the starters basically got the week off of practice during the bye week. He did not finish the South Carolina game 2 weeks ago. 3rd and 7 to Hoskins. Gets folded up and leaves 4th and 4. ESPN Analytics says to go for it on 4th and 6 or less. You agree with the numbers?
I like it. Right, that field goal would get you to 4 points. You're still a touchdown down. And again, I think Clark Lee has kind of set the tone for this game from Jump Street. They're going to be aggressive.
Feels like they're playing with house money. It's been a historical season for Vanderbilt. LSU uses a timeout. They only had 10 men on the field, LSU. So they'll get that straightened out, and Vandy will be looking at another 4th down opportunity, trailing by a touchdown. Well, Brian Kelly's defense only had 10 on the field prior to using the timeout. His protege, Clark Lee, spent 3 years on his Notre Dame staff. Changes his mind, and they're going to try and kick it and try to take 3. Remember, they got stopped on a 4th down when they were well within field goal range of Brock Taylor, whose career long is 57. This will be a 47-yard attempt for the sophomore out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Mirko is his holder, and that one will sneak inside the upright. And Vanderbilt able to cash in after an 11-play, 46-yard drive. Great analysis.
You're welcome.
Glad you're not talking about the center anymore. Hey, thanks to Allstate, because for every field goal and extra point made by the universities who choose to participate, Allstate makes a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. It's amazing the contrast in these programs, right? And obviously the history between the two and the long success that they've had here at LSU over the years, which includes 3 Heisman Trophy winners, Billy Cannon being the first, Joe Burrow and then Jaden Daniels. And both of these teams are bowl eligible, and for Vanderbilt, it's been an amazing season. They went David versus Goliath, knocked off #1 Alabama. Really, the only game they haven't been in this season was the loss to South Carolina. Meanwhile, just a horrendous month around these parts. Not only has LSU lost 3 in a row, but they lost a commitment from the #1 quarterback in next year's class, Bryce Underwood. Michigan flipped them late. Out to the 24-yard line. It's the best show in college football television. It's Read and React every Monday night.
We spent a lot of time talking about the LSU run game tonight, and Clark Lee said it feels like it's turning into a bully ball game, but sometimes it's not just physicality in bully ball, it's awareness and know-how. So we're going to try to get a double team from the center and left guard on the defensive tackle up to this backside linebacker. Will Campbell's going to take over the D tackle when he slides over. But watch center and left guard here. Chester and Mubinga, they double combo off the backer and then off to the backside backer. So the understanding of that defensive tackle leaving their spot, going up to that backside backer, and then comboing off of him because of the stunt. Not just power and physicality for LSU tonight, awareness as well.
It feels like turning to the run game has really helped Mubinga at left guard. Narrowly picked on a diving attempt by C.J. Taylor. And a Mutombo finger wags says, don't come back here again.
Boy, C.J. Taylor, a mainstay for this Vanderbilt defense. Figuring out a new position this year, playing more on the back end at safety. This year playing underneath a little more where he's comfortable, and almost made a heck of a play one-on-one. See what I did there?
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. They both were #1.
#1 in my book. Caden Durham bottled up. Just a yard. Will leave 3rd and 9. Hey, I mentioned the Bryce Underwood recruiting situation. Yeah. Michigan brought Tom Brady in to help recruit him. Threw all sorts of NIL money towards the #1 recruit in the class. It's interesting how that affects the thinking of Garrett Nussmeier, right? Because here's a guy who could opt into the draft, as Kuiper's got him the 5th quarterback, or return for another year. And now all of a sudden, that picture becomes a lot more clear without the #1 quarterback in the class breathing down your neck.
Yeah, no doubt. His price tag goes up, and the money available to add some weapons or talent on both sides of the ball around him.
And he's able to find a little shake and bake for C.J. Daniels, who picks up the 1st down.
I mean, the amount of money that Bryce Underwood was commanding was just unreal. So you take that off the books a little bit. Now you can figure out how you want to build this roster around, hopefully, a quarterback that decides to come back, and Garrett Nussmeier, that's one of the best in the country.
Yeah, and I had that conversation with Brian Kelly at the facility yesterday. He said, listen, we lose the kid, and he ends up at Michigan, and it is what it is. But now all of a sudden, the financial freedom we have to spend on guys that will get a little bit more, to lure more, and he kind of equated it to, you know, when programs go out, like MLB teams go out and they say, we're going to spend this offseason, he said, I promise, we're going to take that to another level. And that money that was committed, the rumors from Michigan, is over $10 million for Underwood. Nussmeier perfectly plays for an LSU 1st down. Anderson got popped, but popped right backs up. It's a 21-yard gain.
Boy, great protection from Will Campbell, the left tackle, and a really good throw by Garrett Nussmeier. He just layers this ball up and over zone defenders right into the arms of Aaron Anderson. Enough air to get it over the defender, but enough velocity to get it there before the safety closed in on it. That's one of the reasons I talk about his anticipation, his arm talent, being one of the best in the country, because it throws like that. It's not just about throwing a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. That's great. When you can do that, that's fun. Looks good on the beach. But when you can make throws like that, levels, manipulate the trajectory of the football, the speed of the football, that's when you're really playing, and Garrett does that really well.
Who isn't looking for that on the beach?
Which part?
The fastball.
You know, nobody goes to the beach and says, hey, let's go through O-line drills. No, you pick up a football and say, let's throw it around.
Show me a kick set in the sand, and by God, I'll be impressed.
2nd and 9 for Garrett Nussmeier. He's thrown for 187, looking for his 1st touchdown through the air, though. Pressured out of the pocket, and he dumps it off. Well, you think about where he stands when it comes to the NFL draft, and of course, he's got a dad who knows the NFL plenty well. Dad, Doug, quarterback coach with the Eagles, but Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Jalen Milroe, this is pretty good company, and Mel Kiper has him as the 5th best. Now, it is thought of as being a fairly weak quarterback class from a depth standpoint.
No doubt, and he's going to have a decision to make, but The NIL changes that. Your ability to make money in college and hopefully set yourself up for a better signing bonus in the future if you can improve your draft stock. Really changes these decisions for quarterbacks deciding to come back for another year or take their talents to the NFL.
So 4th and 4, leading by 4. Nussmeier, the offense, still out in the field. You run it, or you like Mason Taylor here?
I love Mason Taylor here. He's been the security blanket on 3rd downs. He's going to be at the bottom of your screen here, split out. Which means Kyron Lacy in the slot right on top of him.
Clock ticking. Nussmeier fires complete. LSU first down to C.J. Daniels. Nussmeier operating well in a dirty pocket.
Yeah, and he had Mason Taylor on a little stick route just beyond the first down marker, but it was covered really well by Jalen Lackey. See, he looks to his left and comes back to that dig route. Really the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen him working through progressions, coming backside to a dig route. First time it was Kyron Lacy. That time it's C.J. Daniels.
Lacy in motion. Nussmeier slings it to a wide open Kyron Lacy. 12-yard strike and a strut in the end zone. LSU has opened up the lead, and Campbell, the left tackle, showing off his dance moves with Kyron Lacy. 23rd touchdown pass of the season for Garrett Nussmeier. Cap a 10-play, 77-yard drive. Here's Damian Ramos. Ramos remains perfect on point accuracy. How did Kyron Lacy get open?
Well, it's a couple things. The first is we've seen Garrett Nussmeier taking these flat throws and these checkdowns. Watch how this flat route by Aaron Anderson brings down the coverage, and then nobody deep for Kyron Lacy. Colby Taylor takes the route to the middle of the field. And again, you take the free access throws over and over again. The defense bites, and the big one opens up right behind it.
Felt so good. Why pay too much for cable TV when it costs less for Fubo? Get all the channels you want with all the entertainment you love for the price that cable can't beat. Start watching at FuboTV.com.
Running a business gives me enough to deal with, like video meetings.
Nope, you're muted.
You're muted. Getting trapped by this guy.
Tumbling through the bushes and bam, poison ivy. All up and down my arms. My mom said it was gonna be a rough summer.
And filing an insurance claim. But luckily, auto owners makes it easy. They pay what they owe without any hassle. That's simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if auto owners make sense for you.
Game night Friday. You in?
Walmart's massive Black Friday deals event is November 25th through December 1st. Score even more savings on the deals you desire. Get ready to shop Walmart Black Friday deals November 25th through December 1st.
Is there anything better than an SEC tailgate?
Yep, a Sonic SEC tailgate. With all your Sonic favorites, like delicious Sonic Smashers on food-friendly foam fingers. Here, we wear our colors on the outside and the inside.
My stomach's cheering so hard right now.
That's the Quag, 100% creamy queso. Go long! Sonic in the SEC, a match made in football heaven.
Dorian O'Kane in studio with our Yellowwood five-star playing on a wild day in the SEC. Nobody saw this one coming either, folks. Jalen Milroe picked by Kip Lewis, who had a pick six against Auburn, just did it against Bama. Oklahoma 24-3 over Alabama as we watch calmly in the studio, Tom.
Yeah, says the OU grad. When he says nobody saw it coming, Dari means the Oklahoma fan base, including himself, and they're applauding as they put that score up on the video board here at Death Valley, 24-3, Oklahoma. So what does that mean for the race for Atlanta? Well, things have opened up for Georgia in a big way. There are multiple scenarios for Georgia to get in coming into the action today, but here's what they need to play against Texas in Atlanta. They need A&M to lose to Auburn, and well, Auburn's got a touchdown lead with about 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. They need the Longhorns to win next week, and they need Alabama to lose one of their final two, including tonight.
Are you not entertained? I mean, this is unbelievable.
All the hand wringing was just a little premature, right? They just let it play out and have some fun. Johnson back in at quarterback for Vandy, and he hands it off to Cedric Alexander. It's a 2-yard gain.
And Pavia with his helmet on, standing right off the field. I do still think this is a product of him just being really banged up, right? I mean, the run game still has not really gotten going for Vanderbilt. 94 yards on the night, not up to the standard to which they're able to control games and win football games. They might need that quarterback athleticism a little bit more to help out. Nate Johnson right now is healthy.
Double wings with Stowers in there. And a handoff to Alexander for a yard. So 3rd and 7. I do think it's interesting, as promising as Nate Johnson's career was going to be coming out of high school, that Diego Pavia has been running this offense for multiple years. Not only is the entire playbook available to Pavia, but the ability to freelance is certainly available. And Pavia in for a 3rd and 7. Stowers, middle receiver, top. Pavia pressured, and off the hands of Eli Stowers, he gets thrown all the way over to the exercise bike. What a fun place to be. Whit Weeks was in Diego Pavia's face.
Boy, Whit Weeks has been all over the field. He's been plastered to tight ends all night, pressuring Pavia. He was a fun one to talk to this week as well. Understand why his teammates love him and why this fan base loves him as much as they do.
Finish the season top 10 in LSU single season history in tackles. Another bump and run for Jesse Mirko that ends up being a 57-yard punt. Diego Pavia has been pressured all night. Whit Weeks knocked him into next week. LSU football when we return. Great football weekend here in the capital, Louisiana. No live Tiger at the game tonight. I guess the governor didn't make it over. Diego Pavia working on the iPad. What do you got, Cole?
I was going to say, I think T-Bob squashed that last week.
T-Bob Hebert has no care.
You know what, though? It would have been a great idea if they would have won. Everyone would have loved it, you know.
Not everyone. Well, pressure up the middle. LSU trying to run it. And a couple of yards off left tackle for Josh Williams.
This is a massive drive for this Vanderbilt defense. This is not a team or an offense that's built to come from behind. If this gets extended to a 3-score lead, it may be out of reach, just the way they're built on offense, not able to come from behind throwing the football. So this defense has a big task here to try to get this ball back in the hands of their offense to keep this in that 1-2 score range.
2nd down, 8. Nussmeier sidearms it. This will go for a first down. Josh Williams catch and run.
Boy, once again, just the patience on full display. I know this can be boring, right? Just checking it down, right? Taking the easy throw, but you just keep doing this over and over again against a defense that loves to sit back with 2 safeties in spot drop zone, and they're going to be forced to roll guys down or start to blitz and try to force the issue, and that's when those big plays will come.
Well, Garrett Nussmeier, 20 of 26 tonight.
That's efficient.
238 yards. Here's what you're talking about on this replay.
Yeah, it's going to be a spot drop zone, so just watch everybody come back, drop into zone coverage, and he's just going to scan, survey. Nothing there. Just going to flip it out to my running back. Nobody there. Check down turns into 15 yards.
Athletic training staff helped Brandon Fontenette. Now he's under his own power on the sideline. Second time he's had to leave the game tonight. The Vanderbilt team, not just Diego Pavia, really banged up over the course of the season. Clark Lee saying, and we had 6 tough weeks, tough competition. So he allowed the veterans to take some time off during the bye week. So really got a lot of scrimmaging in with the younger guys. Kind of a return to fundamentals. And DeRicky Wright also missed some time. Nussmeier backtracking, stands tall, and fits another one in. This is Aaron Anderson again, gain of 19.
This is the exact same play as that Kyron Lacey one from the first quarter. They're going to fake the run right here. They're going to pull a guy, pull protection, half sprint to the left, come back to the over. And that throw is really good. I know it looked like it was on the back hip, but that's over another linebacker. Langston Patterson sitting there in zone coverage.
The running backs, Josh Williams on that play doing a much better job picking up the pressures than they did last week. To the fourth quarter we
That's
go.
the end of the third quarter.
LSU trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, and it's an 11-point lead under the lights on a Saturday night in Death Valley. Saturday night in Death Valley, and LSU with the lead heading into the fourth quarter. Calling Baton Rouge, Garth Brooks over the loudspeakers, and moments ago, Cole Kublik with Brian Kelly.
All right, Coach Kelly, it feels like here in the second half, is it too easy to say you're just leaning on some of your playmakers? Weeks making play, Nussmeier making plays?
I think you've got to. I mean, you lose 3 games in a row. Everybody needs to step up, coaches, players alike. These guys want to obviously do the right things for LSU football. And they're out here battling, and your big guys got to step up. And we got a full quarter. We have been in this position before and haven't closed. They know it. That's why they put up 4 fingers. They got to close this game.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, all they needed was a cup of coffee and a couple dollars change, and the fourth quarter begins with LSU nearing midfield. Nussmeier swings it out. Looking for a block is Anderson.
What I say about the checkdowns?
I forgot.
Well, eventually you got to start to press the issue, right? Sit back in zone, can't do it. Got to get pressure on the quarterback. They bring blitz there, flip it out to Aaron Anderson. Now you got 3-on-2 in favor of the offense. Nice, easy pickup.
Anderson was a 5-star recruit coming out of Edna Carr. He signed with Ed Ogeron, and they had a unique arrangement. Coach O said, if I'm not here, then you're released. You can go find somewhere else. Go to Alabama if you want. That was the deal they made. That's where Anderson started. And he was busted out of the shadows. Another blitz, and up the sideline to the tight end, Mason Taylor. And the LSU coaching staff said something really interesting about Mason Taylor this week. They said, we're working on him leading with his feet instead of his eyes to help him as a pass catcher.
Yeah, I think last year especially, and maybe early this season, coming out of breaks, he'd whip his head around so fast, he'd leave his feet behind. And he's off balance, and when and if he does catch the ball, he wasn't able to get balance and get good run after the catch. He's doing a lot better letting his feet lead his eyes out of these breaks.
Nussmeier shuffles back and is able to find Josh Williams. One man misses. Williams still on his feet, almost to the 20-yard line. This was part of the game plan for LSU tonight to take advantage of moves in space with their athletes. And Williams turned it into a big game.
But I don't think Josh Williams has been tackled by the first guy at all tonight. It's unbelievable just how consistent he has been at breaking tackles and making guys miss. A couple big runs tonight doing just that, and this time an outlet for Garrett Nussmeier doing the same.
And how about Nussmeier's now hit on 10 consecutive passes. Most productive 3 quarters in an SEC game this season for the LSU offense. Emory Jones moves.
False start. Offense number 50. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And what I say, the importance of this drive for Vanderbilt defense, trying to keep this within striking range, a 2-score game in the 4th quarter. And you see now that would have been the 3rd play in a row. They're dialing up a big blitz to try to force the issue, make something happen, create chaos, force Nuss into a bad decision or a bad throw, trying to do anything to change the momentum here in the 4th quarter.
7th play of the drive, 1st and 15. Williams. By the way, a lot of stress for college football playoff contenders, even the ones that didn't get upset today, and that includes Boise State. Finished off a win on the road at Laramie and just snuck by the Cowboys 17-13. Does that hurt them?
I don't think so. No, because I mean they're still even really sitting in the driver's seat ahead of maybe even a Big 12 team. I mean,
Big 12's a hot mess.
That's what I'm saying.
The way things are going, just win.
Yeah, and they're going to have a bye.
Top 4 conference champions get a bye in the opening round. Nussmeier fires to Taylor. Too strong. Talking with Nussmeier about Mason Taylor this week, and the pretty good security blanket at 6'5", 255. That's how these guys have a lot of reps between them. 3rd and 9 now.
Yeah, another blitz was coming on that last play, and Will Campbell, actually one of the first ones to point it out, stood up and goes, hey, they're coming from over there. Just giving his quarterback a little heads up. I love it. Look at him. Hey, look, they're coming out there. This such a good football player.
Nussmeier slings it, and across traffic goes Chris Hilton. And that is good enough for a 1st down.
Well, that's a guy they need to get going, right? I mean, he started the year in fall camp as really their deep threat, and then was banged up really the first 7 games or so. Has had a rough couple games since then.
It's his first catch of the night.
Yeah, just not on the same page of Garrett Nussmeier the last couple
the ruling
games.
on the field is the ball carrier made the line to gain. The previous play is under further review.
But he's so talented. The more they can get him involved and get his confidence back, the better it's going to be for this team.
Well, Hilton has been in all the headlines this week for a lot of different reasons. Look and see if this was indeed a 1st down.
A little shoestring.
Yellow line is unofficial.
Yeah. Shoestring tackle there. Ball's in the right hand, but it gets upfield. I mean, marker's right about the 11-yard line. Looks like that's kind of right where the ball comes down. Right knee's the first. I think that yellow line may be about a half yard behind where it is. Like I said, the 11 is actually closer to where that line to gain is. So maybe it's a ball short, a hair short, half a ball short.
You know, it's interesting that modern college football, we see replays, and they spend a lot of time looking at DB Sport ad nauseum. I think I've seen the measurement chain come out once all year.
I know. That's so true. When are they going to just start putting chips in the balls, you know?
Soon.
You think?
Yeah. I
mean, I was in Austin last night, and they have those Waymo cars driving around with nobody in them. I stepped out into the street, and then, you know, it's a crosswalk. Took a step back, and this Waymo comes flying by. I'm like, I don't even know if it saw me.
Yeah, those are weird.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. 1st down.
All right, there you go. We mentioned Chris Hilton and trying to get him going. He was at the center of some controversy in the Florida game because Brian Kelly was trying to get him to stop leaving his feet. And of all people, John Boy, who spends all of his time breaking down Aaron Boone's curse words at Yankees game, goes back and breaks the entire thing down. These were a couple of plays that happened earlier in the season against Texas A&M, and something that obviously had been coaching him up about. And it came to fruition in the Florida game. And I think when you see this interaction as just a casual fan. It looks like a coach who's out of control, but then once you break it down, you understand everything he's been doing. It makes a lot more sense. After the first down, a loss of a yard for Josh Williams.
Yeah, and they were 0 for 4 targeting Chris Hilton downfield in that Florida game. And a couple of times the ball was right there and he leaves his feet way too early. So he's actually coming back down as the ball is where it should be. So that's something these coaches have probably talked about. A lot of guys will have a habit like that, and it's tough to break. But, you know, the frustration of having big plays that could change a game go back to just a little detail that's been harped on. That's football, and that's why your emotions get the way they are sometimes. But that's what you got to do to coach guys. You got to be critical. You got to be hard on guys at sometimes. You know, when the standard is so high here at LSU.
Nussmeier in zone. It is bobbled and falls incomplete. Lacey was close to one, but Brandon Fontenette got in the way enough. Really hacked down at that one.
Yeah, Fontenette does a great job because this ball is right on the money, right in the hands of Lacey. But Fontenette comes through right at the elbows. That's such a good job, and Lacey tries to stay focused and bring it down. That's a really good pass breakup. That would be a surefire touchdown if it weren't for Fontenette coming through and ripping hard through both hands of Lacey.
So 3rd and 10, they can still get a first down inside the 1, going for 7, and is caught by Aaron Anderson somehow got his toe down, and you can see the drag mark going all the way across the paint job. Haven't seen dance moves like that since Chalmette. It's an 11-yard touchdown catch for Aaron Anderson.
That ball by Garrett Nussmeier was ridiculous. You can't put it any more perfect than this. And Aaron Anderson, the focus, he actually gets both feet down, left and the right with the drag, like you mentioned, Tom. Oh, the ball.
The ruling on the field
ball came out there.
Completed a catch for a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
Well, I didn't see that at first, but that ball comes out.
That's right. Doesn't make it any less impressive a throw.
No, the throw was on the money. But I tell you what, that is a huge play because right now the score would be 27-10, 3-score game. It's 3rd and 10. If this is incomplete, which it is going to be incomplete, this is a 4th down. You got to kick a field goal. That means it's still a 2-score game for this Vanderbilt team with just under 11 minutes left here in the 4th quarter.
2-score? 30-10?
No, it's 21-10 right now.
Oh, we got the 6 on the board.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. They still have, if it is a touchdown, it would be 27. It's
just
math,
ignore
Tom.
me the rest of the night.
It's math, you know. But I mean, it's big, right? I mean, still, it's a big hole to climb. But 3 scores in the 4th quarter, almost insurmountable. You're still alive if it's a 2-score game.
After further review, the pass is incomplete.
I love the wide receivers in their reaction. He knows he dropped it.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was close. I was so captivated by the throw in the feet the first time through, I didn't see it. But this ball, look at this.
Got to survive the ground.
This ball bounces. He's not even on the ground and the ball hits. And death taxes and receivers always feel like they're open and everything's a catch, you know?
So a 28-yard field goal attempt for Damian Ramos. And then we got a whistle pre-snap.
Before the snap, timeout, Vanderbilt.
Well, that's an odd timeout to take, isn't it?
Yeah.
This should be a 30-second timeout.
Maybe Blake Baker had the wrong personnel out there, or were afraid they were going to fake it. Pardon me, not Blake Baker. Once again,
Clark
I said
Lee.
Ignore me.
Yeah, Clark Lee frustrated there. I was counting. They only had 11 guys on. Sometimes you'll think it's 12 guys, and they're trying not to give you 5 yards, but It's going to be a 2-score game, and you'd love to have all 3 of those timeouts, knowing if you're going to make a comeback here, it's going to come down to the last couple minutes.
Ramos was the SEC Special Teams Player of the Week against Arkansas. He nailed 4 field goals in that game. And he'll tee it up again. Slade Roy is his long snapper. Peyton Todd is holder. And drilled again. All that cost was a 30-second timeout for Vandy. They got 2 left, down 14. But as Jordan mentioned, Vandy picks up a win here as Aaron Anderson is unable to secure the catch after the feet drag. And Vandy's still in this game on a Saturday night in Red Stick. Crazy chaos in college football today. Ole Miss lost to Florida. Arizona State handed BYU its 2nd loss. Colorado lost at Arrowhead to Kansas. And Oklahoma's putting it on Alabama tonight. Here at Tigers Stadium. LSU with a 2-touchdown lead. If you missed it, and if you're watching our game tonight, my guess is you've probably seen most of this already, but here's a reminder. Ohio State absolutely walloped Indiana 38-15. Hoosiers didn't seem like they could handle the moment. A drop snap on a punt to really give Ohio State momentum, and a Caleb Downs touchdown return. Ole Miss lost to Florida, as I mentioned. KU playing in KC knocked off Colorado. And Kenny Dillingham and the Sun Devils are motoring towards the Big 12 title game.
Boy, watch Arizona State just somehow sneak into this thing. They're playing well, but man, the Bama-Oklahoma game right now is just blowing my mind.
Nate Johnson back in at quarterback. He's going to take it himself. And he gets taken down in the open field by Zy Alexander.
How in the world does Oklahoma have 24 points against Alabama? That offense hasn't had a pulse in months.
Well, 7 came on a pick 6. So they got that going for them.
Oh, well, that helps.
Jackson Arnold at quarterback. He'll be here next week. It'll be Oklahoma's first ever trip to Tiger Stadium. Remember, they met in the national championship in 03 and the CFP semi, the Peach Bowl in 19. Their first meeting was the Sugar Bowl in 1949. Pavia back in, the quarterback gets sandwiched and taken down at the logo. Braden Swinson and Washington in there for the stop.
Yeah, Whit Weeks was actually spying Pavia on that one. Pavia wanted to step up and run through to the right, but Weeks was right there. Tried to work to the left, and the rest of the LSU front closed down on him. That was one of the keys to the game, and they've done a really good job of corralling Diego Pavia in the pocket and limiting some of those explosive runs.
Big 3rd down for Vandy. 3-man rush. LSU spying on him again, and that one's lobbed out of bounds, incomplete.
I think the offensive line was out of sync as far as just when guys came off the football there. I don't know if there was a mix-up on the snap count or left guard didn't come off the ball when it was snapped.
Yeah, actually left guard, left tackle really late, both getting off. Yeah, guards, you know, they have been jumping. Nate Johnson in there, Diego back in there. They've been playing musical chairs with the quarterback situation. That voice changing, rhythm changing, obviously affecting the offensive line.
Jesse Mirko's going to run it. Beautiful blocking, and the punter taken down right at the line. They'll say it's a first down run on the fake punt from Jesse Mirko. And Mirko, the Australian, pulling his best Brad Wing impersonation.
Well, he almost waited too long to make a decision. And that's going to be where the knee went down and where the ball is. Looks like it's right at the, that's a great shot. Looks like it's right at the line. I think that's a first down.
Well, I think if you take it back one frame, he might be short, though.
Oh, no. Come on.
The ruling on the field is the ball carrier made the line to gain. The previous play is under further review.
That was not a short fake attempt. And whether or not this possession continues for Vandy will depend on how the replay guys see that spot. Well, after we went to break, they announced that the call on the field stood. It was ruled a first down and the fake punt by Jesse Mirko.
Yeah, you owe me $5, Tom. But here's what I was saying. I think this was a lot closer than it should have even been. When you let this roll, he's going to take a long time to kind of make this decision as he meanders over here. If he just goes, I think it's an easy first down. And since he's trying to set up that block, and it just makes it a lot closer. He's not used to running the route.
Yeah, I don't know if punters spend time reading blocks.
Well, you see green grass, just go, man.
Seems pretty simple.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun one to break down in film.
He's all smiles on the sideline. The drive continues for Vandy. In danger of going 3 and out. And to the run game. A.J. Newberry gets spun around and helped by Xavier Castillo, and it goes for a first down.
That's the play I feel like Vanderbilt has to have go. We asked Blake Baker, LSU defensive coordinator, about that specific play, and he said, no doubt, it feels like everything they do is built off of that play. They want to react to everything that happens on that play, and this is the first time in a couple of games I've seen Vanderbilt actually have a really nice gain off of it.
Fake the end around, and Pavia's going to throw it away again. Braden Swinson was in his face. And no intentional grounding. There was a receiver, the tight end Cole Spence, at the end of that play.
Yeah, Swinson's going to come off the right side here.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. There was an eligible receiver in the area. Second down.
Working on Gunnar Hansen.
Well, they're using the definition of area awfully loosely because that ball was thrown way over the head of Spence. Play clock is winding down, but the officials have been discussing this the whole time that did not reset it. Second half, Pavia only 28 yards total.
Yeah, the big double move to start the game, but since then the protection hasn't really allowed them to have time to push the ball downfield. They're trying. Watch the QB draw here.
Got a gap. Steps into this one. A little strong, but it's falling, pulled down. Fungi takes it inside the 20. That is a fantastic catch by Loic Fungi. Texas Tech transfer.
Well, and Gilbert really gambles here on the backside. This ball hangs maybe just a little longer than Pavia would want it to. And Jordan Gilbert, the Texas A&M transfer, tries to make a play on the ball and just barely misses.
So a fake punt and then a 29-yard completion, probably a 39-yard completion. Pavia steps up and finds Stowers, and he takes it to the 6.
Well, and this is what I was talking about, right? So that drop touchdown by Aaron Anderson made this a 2-score game instead of a 3-score game. Now Vandy putting together a drive here with the chance to close the deficit to 1 touchdown.
How about the smarts for Pavia? He initially wanted to rush to the line and get a playoff. He was held back because of substitutions, allowing LSU more time. So he said, let's huddle up. And now they'll run 2 more on and 2 off last second. LSU will try to answer with Shan.
Yeah, they're going to have to hurry now. 6 seconds on that play clock. Refs still holding them.
2, 1, and they get it off. Straight ahead, Newberry to the goal line and stop just short. Now the shove takes him towards the chalk. And that'll be a first down run and set up 1st and goal inside the 1.
Yeah, that's 2 runs this drive that have really got north and south. Like Cole kind of mentioned, hadn't really seen that yet this game, and Vandy now goes fast.
Pavia trying to keep it, and he powers his way to the goal line. Touchdown, Diego Pavia on a 1-yard plunge. Oh, yeah, throw the chips in the air. Cole, we're letting the celebrations go wherever they want.
Did you say chips?
dice, and then he won the chips or the cash.
I think it's bills.
Yeah, I think there's a little money Manziel to that. You know what I love? Diego Pavia is banged up. He's been a walking bruise for the last couple weeks. He's been in and out of the lineup tonight with Nate Johnson giving him some spells on some of those quarterback runs. But when he needs to put his body on the line there to close this to a one-score game.
It was a 10-play, 75-yard drive. You know what's beautiful about this game of college football? All the chaos that's going on between teams that are fighting for a berth in the 12-team playoff. All of these other games that have incredible meaning attached to it in terms of the postseason. This one has no meaning for the postseason. Both teams will be in a bowl, yet they are fighting their tails off. To your point, Diego Pavia doing everything he can to try and keep this dream season of Vanderbilt alive. Can they beat Alabama, Auburn, and LSU all in the same season? Well, that big completion of 39 yards of Fungi helped out. And then Diego Pavia, little back alley craps, he wins it, and he's sharing the cash. Let it rain, Diego.
SEC Saturday Night is presented by T-Mobile 5G Home Internet. Get internet how you want it.
Diego Pavia emulates Johnny Manziel, wears at number 2 because of him, and watches Johnny football highlight reels before he comes to every game. That's a highlight reel with those people. And he's playing like it. This game was 14-7 at the half. LSU had the lead. And LSU gets the ball back with 5:47 to play. I feel like, anecdotally at least, Vanderbilt got a lot more aggressive with its blitzes earlier this quarter. And that opens some things up for LSU. If you're Clark Lee, do you stay aggressive defensively down a touchdown now?
I think you try to find a little more balance, right? They were in a back against the wall drive where if they didn't stop them, game is over. And I mean, we're still similar there, but you don't want to give up a big explosive play. Force LSU and Garrett Nussmeier to make 9 or 10 good decisions and drive the ball down the field if you're going to. But that blitzing did slow down the run game for LSU in this second half.
LSU's had trouble closing games out this season. Nussmeier hit as he throws, and he chops it in a bucket. Then Kyron Lacy for an LSU first down on a pickup of 21.
There's going to be pressure from Langston Patterson. Blitzing as the linebacker here, number 10, coming through, and watch this hit. He lays on Nussmeier. Boy, just another time that ball was out so early with a bunch of air. So Kyron Lacy could have adjusted that on the sideline right on the money.
Garrett Nussmeier has 12 starts in his LSU career. He's thrown for 300 yards in 8 of those starts, including tonight. To Durham. Big gain on first down. Demarion Thomas with the stop. 5 minutes and rolling.
Yeah, less than 20 rushing yards for LSU in this second half. Now right around 23 yards. And like we've been discussing, it's kind of been Vandy just ramping up the pressure. They blitzed again on that play right there, brought both linebackers to try to slow down the run game. But it has opened up things in the pass game as Vandy shows pressure again. And Mason Taylor pointing it out as well. Coming off the nickel.
That's Randon Fontenette. Here he comes. Durham stop.
One other thing I think LSU's gotten away from is that pistol formation, which we talked to Brian Kelly about. He's referenced it a couple of times. You can go back to the A&M game. They ran it 3 times. Against Alabama, only ran it 8 times, but 18 times against Florida. I think it opens up the playbook as far as the run game is concerned. It evens up the defense a little bit, gives you different options. When it's there, which it looks like it might be on this down, I think it just gives you more ability to find positive yardage.
Joe Sloan, the OC, was the quarterback coach last couple of years after 8 years at Louisiana Tech. And a plunge for a first down for Josh Williams.
And I think you might have said it, Cole, but it breaks your tendencies too as well. Like you did right there, it allows you to look balanced pre-snap, and then right before the snap, shift that running back right or left. But the defense is not able to pick, oh, this is going to be the zone read side, this is going to be the zone. Well, you know, they're not able to adjust to that pre-snap, so you gain a little bit of an advantage there as well.
Safety's creeping up on his first down. And LSU running plenty of clock. Nussmeier fires to Anderson. Makes the man miss. Makes two of them miss. That is a first down catch and run on some shake and bake from Aaron Anderson.
He just stole a couple ankles, folks. This is, look away if you have children in the room, cover their eyes. This is filthy.
He'd make a good bullfighter, wouldn't he?
Wow. Ole.
I mean, we've had more low-key Major League references tonight than I can count.
To Williams again.
That was a good job there by Garrett Nussmeier, taking the play clock all the way down to 3 seconds. But the play previously, they snapped it with about 9 or 10 seconds left on the clock, maybe 9. You really want to get every single second off that clock, because you leave 6 or 7 more seconds, you times that by 3 plays, and 20, 30 seconds can be left on the clock. We'll try to take it all the way down if possible.
2-minute timeout. Vandy can stop the clock twice more with 2 minutes of play, down a touchdown. LSU trying to snap a 3-game losing streak and win its 10th straight against Vanderbilt. LSU trying to put the finishing touches on this one, looking at a second and long. Diego Pavia has been bottled up here in the second half. Vanderbilt down a touchdown. What a bounce back game for Garrett Nussmeier. He was sacked 7 times in the loss to Florida. Nussmeier comes near side. That's Kyron Lacey. Went out of bounds to stop the clock. And Vanderbilt uses a timeout here with 1:54 remaining. So
a huge third down. You can only stop the clock one more time.
There's no charge timeout to Vanderbilt. The ball carrier was out of bounds. Third down.
So 2 more times. If you can get a stop here and hope for a missed field goal, you still got a chance.
Brian Kelly said, what do you mean no charge? They called timeout.
Yeah, but you know, they went out of bounds.
Yeah. What a mistake by Kyron Lacey to turn out of bounds instead of just getting down.
How about the faith in Garrett Nussmeier to throw the ball there instead of running it, knowing that you really just want to force Vandy to use some timeouts.
Third down 4. And a flag and a whistle before the play.
Delayed game defense using disconcerting signals.
Man, what a mistake for Vanderbilt. Automatic first down for LSU. If the offense uses a clap, any part of the cadence, no one on the defense can clap.
Thank you.
20.
And I don't think he was doing it to try and simulate the snap. He's just out there clapping.
Yeah.
And now Vandy trying to bring some pressure, and sneaking through is Josh Williams against that pressure, and gains 8 on first down. Clark Lee is not happy. He's out on the field.
Timeout. Vanderbilt. Their second at the half. 30-second timeout.
Vanderbilt uses their second timeout.
Yeah, so you're going to see The DB right there. I can't circle. It's a little off my screen. But watch the ref look to his left right away and then signal clap right as soon as he hears it. Hears it, throws the flag, and you're going to see him clap his hands right after he signals for the time to stop. That's C.J. Taylor. I really don't think it was even close to him trying to simulate anything. I almost think he's trying to encourage his guys there on 3rd and short.
Let me just ask you a question. In Clark Lee's defense, and I haven't been paying that close attention, has LSU used a clap at any time tonight?
I don't know.
Because if they haven't, then it's not a penalty.
And also, it's a secondary player. You know, it's not right up on the line of scrimmage.
That's irrelevant, though.
Yeah, I know.
As
it's
far
just
as the rules concerned. 2nd and 2. It's an unforced error is what it is on Vanderbilt's behalf.
Yeah.
Pimpton in motion. He's a lead blocker.
Yeah, so Nussmeier used the snap right there. I mean, the clap right there. And like you said, if they've been using it, that's not something you can do on defense. It's just
Rodney Lowry, the umpire, was all over that call. And we don't know if LSU, if Vanderbilt was going to stop LSU anyway, but it took it out of their hands. And now LSU knocking on the door again, and Garrett Nussmeier is going to use a lot of clock. What a wild month for LSU, right? I mean, actually more than a month, but the 6-game losing streak for Brian Kelly's squad, pardon me, 6-game win streak, followed by the 3-game losing streak. And the way it went down last week against Florida, especially the turnovers against A&M, the sacks against Florida.
Timeout, LSU.
Thoroughly outplayed by Alabama.
30-second timeout.
And trying to rinse that bad taste out of the mouth. I think that we spent a lot of time in this era of the rotating rosters and name, image, and likeness deals to say, you know, maybe the players aren't as invested as they have been in years past. And I think that's a fair criticism a lot of time. But the flip side of that is that when a team like LSU that has nothing to play for anymore comes out and performs like this, and I think they deserve a little bit more credit, given that they're not letting that bring them down.
No doubt. I mean, yeah, this is...
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 14 seconds. 1-1-4.
This is a team that really could care less to go to just a bowl game. This is a team that expected to play for a college football playoff opportunity, expected to compete for an SEC championship, had a roster in place that they believed they could, and they've fallen short, and they haven't been able to close out games that maybe they had opportunities to win. So to your point, Tom, yes, in this day and age, it's easy to kind of throw in the towel. Got a lot more money in your pocket. Your main goals are off the table, but it's a team that looked different tonight. It's a physical, good Vanderbilt football team, and LSU met the physicality on offense. They ran the football effectively, 141 yards tonight, 473 total yards. They looked inspired. And like you said, a tough moment to do so, sitting at 6-4 without your goals on the table any longer.
Well, 3 long second-half drives, and LSU will put the finishing touches on a touchdown win over Vanderbilt. It starts and will finish with Garrett Nussmeier, sacked 7 times last week.
Yeah, the pressure was not there like it was last week, which gave him an opportunity to just dice up this Vanderbilt defense, as we saw a few times attacking those over routes as the play action pass really started getting rolling, and then the accuracy in the red zone. They've struggled to finish drives and touchdowns in the red zone. He was really sharp all night, taking what the defense gave him, waiting for those explosive plays to open up. About as sharp as I've seen Garrett Nussmeier in his career.
So that'll be it from Death Valley tonight. LSU snaps a 3-game losing streak, 10th consecutive win against Vanderbilt. And it's a touchdown win for this LSU team. They got Oklahoma coming to town for the first time ever next week. We'll be here for the ESPN broadcast Saturday night. Don't forget, SEC football finals coming up in mere moments. They're going to take you to Norman, Oklahoma, show you field storming. Meanwhile, at our field, it's Colt Kulick with Brian Kelly.
Coach Kelly, as I mentioned at the half, you said sometimes when things are bumpy, you got to fix the football. How much did you feel like your football was fixed tonight?
You know, I thought our guys played a complete game. Obviously, we gave up the double move on the first play. You take that out, I thought our kids played really well. We controlled the game offensively. You know, obviously a great call to get the fake punt. We had to contain the team up inside, but I love the way our guys battled, given all the adversity. and played a complete game against a team that's always a one-score team. Vanderbilt plays really well. Clark's done a great job, but a great victory for our team.
Coach, even past that, like you mentioned, your kids showing up and actually playing hard. Tom and Jordan were just referencing it. There's so many reasons for guys not to show up anymore, not to come out here and play the way that your team did. What does it say about your program, the fact that they came out here, showed up, not only played physical, but just wanted to be a part of this game?
Yeah, and they knew. Look, we had 3 games that we let slip away late. They knew they were a better team than 6-4, but that's the SEC. Each and every week is a battle, and you're just trying to survive each and every week. But play complete football. You have to play complete football against a team that's not going to make any mistakes in Vanderbilt. They're well coached, and I'm really proud that they know what our culture is. There's a standard, and they lived up to that standard tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Cole.
24-17 is our final tonight. SEC football final will take you through the total chaos. Oklahoma wins. Ole Miss loses, and they got to sort it all out. Tell you who'll be playing in Atlanta. We'll be back here in just a moment. Dari, it's yours.
Yeah, Tom, this is, you know,